Chapter 2488. The death of Renzu, the divine emperor of the Ministry of Justice, who had been sent by the divine dynasty, walked up to the execution platform with a cold face, carrying a special torture instrument with spiritual augmentation. He was about to put the slovenly Taoist to death by 1,000 cut. At the same time, a violent roar of an ancient god suddenly came from the void, breaking the heavens and shattering the execution platform. Before the divine lords carrying out the punishment could understand what was happening, their bodies exploded and their souls crumbled. The ancient god's roar had such terrifying might. All the warriors who saw this scene drew a cold gasp. Many Renzu were shocked. The Purple Dragon King was the first to react. He rushed towards the slovenly Taoist as soon as he realized that something was wrong. He wanted to take him hostage. But before he could do anything, a giant ancient god's hand came out from the land of the ancient god and slammed down on him. Purple Dragon King, die! Impossible! An ant like you can actually control the corporeal body of an ancient god. The Amethyst Dragon King turned his head in shock. What he saw was a terrifying ancient god walking out of the land of the ancient gods with a torrential corpse aura. What was even more inconceivable was that Yi Fei could stand on the shoulder of the ancient god and control the body of the ancient god with the body of a mortal. Not to mention the Amethyst Dragon King, all the Renzu present felt a great fear. In the current divine continent, a dying ancient god emperor was able to suppress everyone. If someone could control an ancient god, even if it was just the physical body, it would be enough to change the entire divine prefecture and the Crimson Moon Holy Dynasty. For a moment, all the Renzu looked at Yi Fei with strong murderous intent and greed. This child is a variable, and he could very well be the key to the rise and fall of our Crimson Moon God Dynasty. We can't let him succeed. We must capture him at all costs and grasp the method to control this ancient god's corporeal body. Set up the blood formation in Founding Emperor City and set up the 4 symbols ambush. Quickly ask His Majesty to bring the experts of the royal family here. Zheng Tai, the Imperial College's vice-chancellor, and the other 3 forefathers didn't have time to bother with the slovenly Taoist. They roared furiously and charged into the sky, fighting against the terrifying ancient god's body together with the Violet Dragon King. Seeing this, Zhao Yu and the others who had also rushed out were shocked and instinctively wanted to help. Even if Yi Fei could control the body of an ancient god, he was still facing the 5 great Renzu. Further away, more Renzu were also getting restless. They wanted to capture Yi Fei and force him to tell them how to control the ancient god. In the void, Yi Fei roared and instantly activated all the godly patterns on the ancient god's body. He pointed at the Renzu who were charging towards him and roared, "Kill them all, and I will grant you complete life and freedom." Roar. As if it understood Yi Fei's words, the ancient god's corpse spirit let out an even more terrifying roar and instinctively unleashed some of the ancient god's power. The terrifying stone fists were like 2 godly mountains flying towards the Amethyst Dragon King. The dragon exploded, and so did one of the Amethyst Dragon King's arms. The Amethyst Dragon King was enraged. He opened his mouth and wanted to release the purple dragon roar, but not to attack the ancient god. Instead, he wanted to kill Yi Fei, who was standing on the ancient god's shoulder. Seeing this, Yi Fei sneered. His body suddenly turned into a green dragon and entered the ancient god's body. He then landed firmly on the ancient god's heart. "Ancient god, kill the Amethyst Dragon King for me. Kill the Amethyst Dragon King." The corpse spirit went completely berserk. He didn't pay any attention to the other patriarchs. He stepped forward and unleashed a barrage of stone fists. They were like mountains as they slammed into Violet Dragon King. Violet Dragon King sensed that his golden body of despair was about to collapse, and his chest was about to collapse. "This is impossible. How can this be? I am a Renzu, the future ancient emperor. How can I be defeated? How can I die?" Yemo, what kind of evil technique did you use? The entire void resounded with the Amethyst Dragon King's desperate and frenzied roar. He ignited his bloodline, even his heavenly palace and divine soul. He didn't care about the price he had to pay as he madly rushed towards Yifei. At this time, another ancient divine stone fist arrived. It carried the power to shatter the starry sky. Just one fist had already shattered the Amethyst Dragon King's heavenly palace and even his divine soul. Bang! Bang! There was a shocking explosion of blood between heaven and earth. That was the scene of the Amethyst Dragon King, Renzu's body exploding and divine soul collapsing. The Amethyst Dragon King had died on the spot. Zheng Tai and the other 3 human ancestors were enraged. Their mystiques blasted the ancient god's body mercilessly. However, the ancient god's body was too tough. This was especially true for this ancient god. Due to his cultivation of the ancient god golden body, his body had already reached an indestructible state. How could the attacks of the human ancestors possibly damage it? Roar! After killing the Amethyst Dragon King, the ancient god's corpse spirit suddenly opened his mouth and swallowed the Amethyst Dragon King. At the same time, he waved his fists again and smashed them towards Zheng Tai and the other 3 Renzu. 2 Renzu could not dodge in time. One of them was severely injured and vomited blood. He could only escape with his divine soul. The other one died on the spot. His body and divine soul were smashed into a meat patty. Then, the ancient god's corpse spirit grabbed the meat patty and swallowed it. It let out an excited and thirsty cry. Clearly, the taste of Renzu's flesh and blood was very much to the ancient god's corpse spirit's appetite. There was no need for Yifei to give any more orders. The ancient god's corpse spirit had already charged forward and started killing all Renzu around it. Many Renzu, both inside and outside the heavens, looked defeated. No one had expected that the encirclement of Renzu against a mere Tao Lord would result in such a terrifying situation. The ancient god's corpse had come alive and slaughtered Renzu. The entire imperial city was in chaos. Martial artists were running for their lives everywhere. Zhan Feng, Nailan Shui, and Jiang Hui's hands and feet were cold. They thought that they could kill Yifei if they worked together. However, Yifei's counterattack was sharp and unexpected every time. Kill. After fighting for a long time, the ancient god's corpse spirit actually learned the human language and seemed to have become much more intelligent. It didn't chase after Renzu recklessly. Instead, it focused on the injured Renzu. It rushed over, opened its mouth, and swallowed the Renzu alive. It used the power of the ancient god to refine it instantly. Demon, demon! Yifei, you evil demon! How dare you use the body of an ancient god to kill 4 Renzu of the divine dynasty? From now on, the divine dynasty will fight you to the death. The directorate's Zheng Tai roared madly, but his voice was getting farther and farther away. He didn't dare to stay for even a moment. The ferocity of the ancient god's corpse spirit was enough to scare away all Renzu. Very quickly, the entire heavens, both inside and outside, became calm and peaceful. Only one ancient god remained, raising his head and roaring. He really wanted to chase after the human ancestors and devour them. Yifei hurriedly controlled the 108 divine runes in the ancient god's heart, forcing the ancient god's corpse spirit to calm down. After all, his main goal was not to kill, but to save people and escape. Chapter 2489. Complete zombie transformation. After scaring away all the warriors, Yifei then rushed up the ancient god's arm to the execution platform and freed the slovenly Taoist, the 8-armed sword demon, from his imprisonment. The slovenly Taoist's expression was filled with complicated emotions. Then, he saw a sneaky black tortoise rush out of the land of the ancient god and loot the dimensional belts that Renzu had dropped after his death. Zhao Yu, Bai Yanran, Lu Qing, Wu Jie, and Bai Shizhong also came out of the land of the ancient god. A rare smile appeared on the slovenly Taoist's face, but then he shook his head. Yi Fei, do you know that you've made a huge mistake? Although I don't know how you awakened the ancient god's corpse spirit, it is impossible for you to control the ancient god's body all the time given your current realm. Moreover, the Crimson Moon Divine Dynasty is not as simple as you think. Jing Tai's trip will definitely alarm the ancient emperor of the Divine Dynasty. At that time, with the ancient emperor's power, do you think you can resist him with just the ancient god's corpse spirit? Hurry up and leave the divine land. Roar. Before he finished speaking, the ancient god corpse spirit that had been quietly standing there suddenly roared in a certain direction. Yi Fei looked up and discovered that the ancient god's roar was coming from the direction of the imperial palace. In the distance, there were already divine monarchs from Jade Palace rushing over. Young master, something bad has happened. The theocrats have already asked the ancient emperor to revive. If we don't leave now, it will be too late. This is your last chance. Come to master's side. Otherwise, once the emperor of the ancients appears, no one will be able to protect you. Chuyun Renzu's voice came from afar. Boom. However, before Renzu could finish his words, the entire imperial city suddenly erupted with a vast imperial divine might. Under this divine might, even Renzu felt a great sense of fear. This divine might pressed down on the heavens, and the heavens began to crumble. Only the ancient god corpse spirit let out a furious roar. Suddenly, it grabbed Yi Fei and placed him on its shoulder. At the same time, it strode forward in the direction of the imperial palace. Zhao Yu and Lu Qing's expressions changed at the same time. On the ancient god's shoulder, Yi Fei suddenly thought it through. Senior Sword Demon is right. I awakened the ancient god. Although I killed the Amethyst Dragon King, I also caused a huge disaster. There is no place for me in the current divine prefecture. Wu Jie, Senior Bai, thank you for your help. However, the current situation is no longer under our control. While I'm holding off the ancient emperor, we should take this opportunity to escape. Hurry up and return to your own forces. Zhao Yu, you too, hurry up and leave with Qianrenzu. Soon, I will personally go to the palace of the Divine King to pick you up. I won't leave. Zhao Yu's eyes were filled with determination. Suddenly, a golden light flashed beside him. It was Bai Suifeng, who had grabbed Zhao Yu, Lu Qing, and Bai Yanran. Let's leave quickly. Without the protection of the ancient god corpse spirit, we can't even withstand the gaze of the ancient emperor. If we stay here, we will only be a burden to Yi Fei. Follow me. I came to the divine prefecture because Master gave me the immortal essence door to let us leave the imperial city. Lu Qing suddenly thought of something. Without the spatial shackles of the land of the ancient god, she quickly took out the immortal essence door. The slovenly Taoist's eyes lit up. That's great. With this thing, we have hope of escaping. But Yi Fei. Zhao Yu turned back and looked into the distance. Don't worry, he will be fine. This trip to the Earth Carnage role was a test that I gave him. Since he has completed this test, I should give him this thing. Suddenly, the slovenly Taoist took out a rag and stuffed it into the dragon turtle's mouth. Then, he emptied the dragon turtle's mystic meridians. Finally, he kicked the dragon turtle into the distance. The dragon turtle roared furiously. However, this roar was quickly drowned out by the even more terrifying ancient emperor's wrath. Suddenly, a terrifying ancient emperor's light rushed out from the sky above the imperial palace. Soon, the light turned into a terrifying palm that covered more than half of the imperial city. It fiercely slammed towards the ancient god corpse spirit. Boom! Roar! The ancient god corpse spirit punched out furiously. It didn't have any special abilities. The ancient god's physical body was its strongest special ability. This stone fist could kill Renzu, but it couldn't shake the golden palm. There was only a loud boom. This golden palm could even push the ancient god's body back. This was the power of the Heaven Realm's ancient emperor. It was as if it could destroy the world. Even the corpse spirit born from the ancient god's body couldn't resist it. At the same time, the collision between the corpse spirit and the ancient emperor turned the imperial city into ruins. Zhao Yu and the others were horrified. The ancient emperor's attack was so terrifying. Even if Yi Fei controlled the ancient god's body, how could he resist it? Yi Fei, run! Zhao Yu shouted from afar. At this time, everyone had entered the door of immortal essences. Only Zhao Yu and Lu Qing, who was controlling the door of immortal essences, hadn't entered. They were waiting for Yi Fei. However, seeing the ancient emperor's light in the imperial palace getting stronger and stronger, how could Yi Fei retreat now and put Zhao Yu and Lu Qing in danger? I'm sorry. Yi Fei controlled the ancient god's body and suddenly turned around. He pushed his palm forward and pushed Zhao Yu and Lu Qing into the door of immortal essences. Rizhu, who was far away in Qingzhou, mistakenly thought that everyone had entered the door of immortal essences. The door of immortal essences suddenly exploded with a strong divine light and rushed out of the imperial city's sky. Within the imperial palace, the ancient emperor's angry snort could be heard. An even stronger and more terrifying golden palm covered half of the imperial city. It shattered the heavens and destroyed countless buildings within the imperial city. Countless warriors were killed by the ancient emperor's palm. The huge ancient god corpse spirit's stiff face turned solemn. Suddenly, it lowered its head and looked at Yi Fei with reluctance. A huge force was released from the ancient god's body. As it shattered the void, it grabbed Yi Fei and threw him out like a meteorite. Yi Fei's heart trembled. Of course, he knew what it meant when the ancient god corpse spirit threw him out. This corpse spirit wanted to use its own life to save his. Corpse spirit, you were born because of me. I won't let you die because of me. Roar. The ancient god corpse spirit's roar reverberated throughout the imperial city. This roar instantly broke through all the divine inscriptions that Xiao Chao had engraved in its body and completely severed its connection with Yi Fei. Only now did Yi Fei know that after devouring a large amount of Renzu, the ancient god corpse spirit had already gained the ability to break free from his control and completely transform. However, because of its attachment to Yi Fei, the corpse spirit hadn't done so until the ancient emperor of the Crimson Moon Holy Dynasty appeared. Not only did he threaten Yi Fei's safety, but he also threatened the corpse spirit's own safety. Only then did the ancient god corpse spirit resolutely sever its connection with Yi Fei and completely transform. It also obtained the violent and terrifying power of the ancient god. Boom! Chapter 2490. The boundary between God and Devil. The ancient emperor was the most powerful being in the entire divine prefecture. Although the ancient god's corpse spirit was not a real ancient god, it could still unleash a terrifying attack with the remaining ancient god power of the ancient god's corpse. This attack infuriated the emperor of the ancients and terrified Renzu. In the imperial city, everyone was running for their lives. In the imperial palace, Renzu was trembling in fear. Capture that Yi Fei. We must bring him back to the Crimson Moon Holy Dynasty alive at all costs. His friends and family must all be executed. Inside the palace, a member of the royal family issued an order in shock. Although there was an ancient emperor in the divine dynasty, this ancient emperor was too ancient. He was able to survive not because he was too strong, but because he cherished his life too much. When the other ancient emperors died or left, only this ancient emperor used a self-sealing technique to maintain a state of being neither dead nor alive. However, this state wasn't invincible. Every time the ancient emperor was awakened from his seal, a portion of his lifespan would be consumed. This was the 7th time the ancient emperor had been awakened, and he was nearing the end of his lifespan. The fact that Yi Fei had awakened the ancient god's corpse spirit was undoubtedly a heavy blow to the Crimson Moon divine dynasty. Finally, after 3 days and 3 nights of intense battle with the ancient emperor, the ancient god's corpse spirit broke through the void and escaped from the imperial city. The ancient emperor didn't chase. He only coughed out a mouthful of black blood and looked at the retreating corpse spirit in confusion. Ancient god spirit summoning is something only the spirit immortal clan can do. Could it be that what should come is finally coming? Back then, in order to prolong his life and break through to a higher level, he had taken a risk. He had mobilized all the forces of the divine dynasty, including the forces of the 10 palaces, to attack the spirit realm and crazily plunder the spirit blood of the immortal spirits in an attempt to prolong his life. Unfortunately, he did not succeed. In the battle in the spirit realm, he had expended a huge amount of vitality, but he had not obtained a single drop of spirit blood. All the members of the spirit immortal tribe would rather self-destruct than leave a drop of their spirit blood to prolong his life. Because of that battle, the 10 great forces took the opportunity to break free from the control of the Crimson Moon Holy Dynasty. Each of them had their own territory, especially the golden body of despair of the heavenly palace of despair, which was related to the ancient gods. In order to protect his position, obtain the golden body of despair, comprehend the ancient god, and obtain the method to make further breakthroughs, he joined forces with the Yin-Yang Palace to destroy the heavenly palace of despair. However, it seemed that everything he had done had not changed his fate. Instead, he seemed to have dragged the Crimson Moon Holy Dynasty into a more dangerous situation. The ancient emperor's expression darkened. He looked up into the sky and ordered, "The divine dynasty cannot be destroyed by my hands. Pass down my order. Everyone who enters the land of the ancient god must hand over the opportunities they have obtained. If they resist, their families will be wiped out." The heaven realm was incomparably vast. The divine prefecture was only the first level of the heaven realm. Outside of it, there were still the 2nd level, the 3rd level, and even the 9th level. At the same time, the border area of each heaven was the place where the conflict was the most intense. For example, the border between the divine prefecture and the demon prefecture was the same. There was a large number of people who had fled from the divine prefecture and the demon prefecture to seek refuge there. Over time, this place became a chaotic area. There were no laws here, only strength. Whoever was strong enough would be able to obtain the best treatment here. The Divine Devil City. It was the largest ancient city in the border area. Both the divine prefecture and the demon prefecture were gathered here. After the ancient god's corpse spirit threw them out of the imperial city, the divine prefecture could no longer accommodate them. Yi Fei could only bring the dragon turtle and Xiao Qiao to the divine devil city by following the map. Of course, that map was the rag that the slovenly Taoist had stuffed into the dragon turtle's mouth. The dragon turtle was still brooding over it. It was even more mournful that the slovenly Taoist had plundered all of its mystic veins. However, other than the divine devil city, this map has another name. It's called the Dragon Chart Pavilion. Could it be that Senior Sword Demon asked me to come here to find the Dragon Chart Pavilion? What does the Divine Devil City have to do with the 9th Heaven Sword Master? Yi Fei was very puzzled. He knew that everything the slovenly Taoist was doing was to help him grow quickly so that he could rescue the 9 Heavens Sword Master from that mysterious golden mountain vein as soon as possible. Since that was the case, there must be a deeper reason for him to come to the Dragon Chart Pavilion. I just don't know where the Dragon Chart Pavilion is, or what kind of power it is in the Divine Devil City. Yi Fei frowned and walked into a restaurant. This was the last restaurant that he had come to inquire about. If he still couldn't find the location of the Dragon Chart Pavilion, then he could only put up a bounty in the city. However, that would be too ostentatious. Yi Fei wasn't sure if there were spies from the Crimson Moon Divine Dynasty in the Divine Devil City. Therefore, he kept a low profile and walked into the last restaurant. At this time, A young man carrying a sword walked out with a cold expression. "You're the one who's been asking about the Dragon Chart Pavilion? You know about the Dragon Chart Pavilion?" Yi Fei looked at the young man with a surprised expression. They both used swords, and he had a good impression of swordsmen. The young man's expression was very cold. He nodded slightly and said, "If you want to find the Dragon Chart Pavilion, follow me." After saying that, the young man led the way, not caring if Yi Fei followed. Yi Fei shrugged and didn't say anything. He just lifted his feet and followed behind. "Interesting. If you want to enter the Dragon Chart Pavilion, you have to follow my footsteps." The young man didn't have the slightest bit of aura. He just took large strides forward. Every step he took was very strange. It was as if the ground was shrinking. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared in front of Yi Fei. Obviously, the young man was deliberately testing him. How could he show weakness at this time? Yi Fei's footsteps didn't change. The flames on his back spread and condensed into a special pair of azure dragon fire wings. As the fire wings flapped, Yi Fei's figure became faster and faster. He just happened to be right behind the young man. When they were 10 steps away, the young man's expression changed. He increased his speed again, but every time he increased his speed, he couldn't shake off Yi Fei. This was also a dangerous 10-step. It meant that Yi Fei could attack him from behind at any time. Suddenly, the young man stopped. He turned around and stared coldly at Yi Fei. "Your speed is not bad. However, you are not my match. Tell me, why do you want to know about the Dragon Chart Pavilion? Who told you about it?" Clang! The long sword was unsheathed. There was a strange demonic sound behind it. This demonic sound could shake a cultivator's soul and make them subconsciously say what was on their mind. However, when he heard this demonic sound and compared it to the powerful purple dragon roar of the Amethyst Dragon King, Yi Fei felt that it was funny. "You want to compete with me in sword sound? Fine, I'll fulfill your wish." Boom! The sword sound was vast and mighty. Yi Fei didn't use the Black Gold Emperor's sword. He only released his undying sword soul. A terrifying sword soul's power had already shattered the young man's sword sound and locked onto his throat. Chapter 2491. Half-Dragon, it doesn't matter who I am. The key is that you know about the Dragon Chart Pavilion, so you must bring me there. Don't worry, I have no ill intentions towards you. It's just that an old friend asked me to come to Divine Devil City to find the Dragon Chart Pavilion. It wasn't easy to find someone who knew about the Dragon Chart Pavilion. Yi Fei didn't want to cause any misunderstandings, so he took out the rag he carried with him. That rag was rotten and dirty. When he stuffed it into the dragon turtle's mouth, it vomited for 3 days. The youth with the sword on his back stared at the rag Yi Fei took out with a serious expression. "This is demonic silk produced by the demonic silkworm. This is unique to my Long family. Only my Long family knows about the Dragon Chart Pavilion. How do you know who gave you this cloth?" The youth's gaze was fixed on Yi Fei, but Yi Fei was very calm. "His name is Long Tua, and he has another title, the Eight-Armed Sword Demon." "What? The Eight-Armed Sword Demon?" The youth's expression became shocked. He then looked deeply at the rag, and the hostility on his body slowly disappeared. "Are you the son or disciple of the previous patriarch? But that's not important. Since the previous patriarch asked you to come, then come with me." The youth with the sword on his back didn't walk forward, but returned to Divine Devil City. "Outsiders don't know about the Dragon Chart Pavilion because it's a secret of my dragon family. Outsiders can't know about it." "Dragon family?" Yi Fei was very surprised. He immediately sensed the youth's aura carefully. Indeed, he found that the youth had a very strong aura of the dragon family. Within the beast mark space, Xiao Chao and the dragon turtle looked at the young man curiously. The young man didn't hide his identity and just asked curiously, "What's wrong? Didn't the previous patriarch tell you about us half-dragon people?" Only then did Yi Fei know that the youth wasn't a true dragon, but a hybrid between a dragon and a human. Such a strange race was very common in the Demon Province. The Demon Province was also very suitable for Evil Path and Demon Path warriors to cultivate. Right, I remember that senior brother Zhao and Fu Renjie brought Pang Bei to the Demon Province to cultivate. I wonder if I'll be able to meet them. Yi Fei thought absent-mindedly. The sword-bearing youth was not a talkative person. Seeing that Yi Fei did not know much, he did not speak further. Isn't that Long Xing? What's wrong, genius of the Long family? I heard that you failed to woo the young miss of the Qin family and were beaten up instead. You still have the face to appear in front of us? Outside Divinity Devil City, a group of luxurious carriages came out. These carriages were filled with young masters and young ladies, all of them exuding powerful auras. It was clear that they were not ordinary playboys. The nearby pedestrians, including a half-step divine lord, hurriedly made way for these carriages. Only Long Xing, out of his dignity as a half-dragon, didn't have any intention of making way. He immediately attracted the attention of these young masters and young ladies. There was also a woman in the carriage. She had exquisite makeup on her face, but her eyes were filled with disdain. Long Xing, you are really getting worse and worse. My little sister is a peerless beauty. How can she be compared to a half-dragon, half-human, half-dragon like you? The two of you are simply worlds apart. If you kneel down now and swear that you will no longer have anything to do with my little sister, I can pretend that I didn't see a pile of dog shit like you. The woman's words were extremely vicious. Long Xing's face immediately turned ashen and twisted. It was as if he wished he could rush up and engage in a great battle. But for some unknown reason, Long Xing actually managed to suppress his anger. He didn't even look at Yi Fei. He turned and strode away. Many of the young masters and young ladies in the carriage had bored expressions. Since this matter didn't concern him, Yi Fei couldn't be bothered to speak. Even if Long Xing ignored him, he deliberately put some distance between them and unhurriedly followed Long Xing. But the woman in the carriage clearly had no intention of letting Long Xing go. She clapped her hands, and the Tao Lord guards around the carriage formed a human wall that surrounded Long Xing and blocked Yi Fei's path. Long Xing's expression changed. He said angrily, "Qin Yi, this is between you and me. Don't implicate the innocent. This person has nothing to do with me." Nothing to do with him? Long Xing, you are still so bad at lying. You were very close to this person just now. You are clearly on the same side. Now that you are trying to distance yourself, I can't help but suspect that this person's background is unknown. This makes me very unhappy. Men, break the legs of these two country bumpkins. Make them kneel to the side and make way for us. Another young master in luxurious clothes walked out from behind Qin Yi. This person's aura was even stronger than Qin Yi's. He was an early-stage Tao Lord, but he had the aura of a late-stage Tao Lord. This made Yi Fei extremely surprised. He felt that there were really hidden dragons and crouching tigers in this place where the gods and demons intersected. Such strength already had the qualifications to enter the Earth Carnage role. The strange thing was that these martial artists didn't participate. These words caused Long Xing's expression to change drastically. He said angrily in a deep voice, "Qin Zhen, you forced me to do this. Do you really think that you can do whatever you want to me just because you know my weakness?" Boom! A unique aura erupted from Long Xing's body. That was a rolling dragon aura, causing many of the young masters in the carriage to reveal looks of fear. Qin Yi's eyes lit up when she felt this dragon aura. Very good, Xiaoxi was right. The dragon aura in your body might be the purest in the Long family. Unfortunately, in front of my Qin family, that little bit of dragon aura is still not enough. Qin Zhen, go up. According to the rules of our divine Devil City, fight with Long Xing. If he can block 3 of your moves, then let him go. If he can't, Then let him kneel by the side of the road for the people of the divine Devil City to see. What kind of character does the young master of the Long family have? Qin Yi's words fell. Qin Zhen, who was standing beside her, immediately sneered. He stood on top of the carriage and pointed at Long Xing and Yi Fei. Don't say that I'm bullying you. Both of you, come at me together. If you win, you can leave. If you lose, I don't want you to kneel. I only want you to crawl under my crotch. This request of mine, isn't it kind? Qin Zhen, your request is too benevolent. It's so benevolent that we want to laugh. Ha 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 ha. Laughter spread far and wide, attracting more people to come and watch. Long Xing's eyes were red. He clenched his fists, but he still didn't attack. Instead, he suddenly looked at Yi Fei and said, "Turn right here and you will find the Long family. This has nothing to do with you. Leave." Yi Fei nodded secretly. Although he didn't know Long Xing was clearly strong, why would he be willing to be humiliated? However, for the sake of Senior Sword Demon, Yi Fei didn't want the descendants of the Long family to be humiliated. Immediately, he took a step forward and was about to attack. Suddenly, a middle-aged man walked out from the city gate in the distance. As soon as he appeared, his dragon aura scared the beasts in the carriages, causing them to move wildly. Some of the carriages were even overturned. The young masters and young mistresses on the carriages were so frightened that they quickly flew into the air to avoid being embarrassed. However, the moment they flew into the air, the Tyrannosaurus who walked out suddenly changed. Dragon horns grew on his head, releasing a terrifying divine light. The whole world shook violently. Chapter 2492. Dragon Palace. The dragon horn released a divine light that formed continuous purple lightning arcs. The young masters and young mistresses were all paralyzed and fell to the ground in a sorry state. Only Qin Yi and Qin Zhen had an invisible barrier of wood qi around them that blocked the impact of the lightning arc. Qin Yi, Qin Zhen, this is what you get for humiliating yourself. Thank you, third uncle. Long Xing's expression returned to normal as he walked towards the middle-aged man. However, the middle-aged man slapped him. Brat, your weakness is exposed. You're at your weakest now. Are you still thinking about that demoness? You don't even care about your life? Third uncle, I just can't accept this. I didn't expect our 3 years of relationship to end like this. Long Xing's expression was gloomy. Although the middle-aged man had slapped him, it was obvious that he was still very worried about him. He didn't say anything and just grabbed Long Xing's arm to leave. Long Xing suddenly thought of something. He pointed at Yi Fei and said to the middle-aged man in Draconic, "Third uncle, he has the token of the previous patriarch. Take him to the Long family." What? The previous patriarch? The middle-aged man's expression turned solemn. He suddenly raised his hand, which transformed into a giant dragon claw. Capture Yi Fei. Long Xing flew into the Godfiend city. Only now did Qin Yi and Qin Zhen gasp for breath. Their eyes flashed with anger. If it wasn't for the Long family's third elder, we would have captured Long Xing and humiliated him. Qin Zhen was very unwilling. Qin Yi's exquisite face flashed with coldness. Don't worry. The Long family won't be able to survive for long. However, I'm a bit concerned about the youth beside Long Xing. That person? Why should we care? We know Long Xing's weakness, but he still dares to fight us. That person beside him is so scared that he can't even say a word. Apart from his early stage Dao Lord cultivation, he's completely useless. At the mention of Yi Fei, not only did Qin Zhen disdain him, but the other young masters and young mistresses also agreed. Qin Yi shook her head and laughed. As the opening of the Fiend God Forbidden Land approached, was she also becoming oversensitive? Anyway, my sister, Qin Shi, has already used her beauty to find out all of Long Xing and the others' weaknesses. In this battle for the Forbidden Grounds, our Qin family will definitely be able to completely defeat that group of demi-dragons and then take over the Divine Devil City. Qin Yi had completely calmed down. Due to the middle-aged man's forceful interference, these young masters and young mistresses no longer had any interest in going out of the city to have fun. Thus, they simply returned to the Divine Devil City. At the same time, Yi Fei was also brought to Long Xing's residence. Along the way, he saw many demi-dragons sparring with each other. These demi-dragons all had unique bloodlines of the dragon tribe, and were born with the ability to control lightning. There were even some who were born with 3 heads and 6 arms, and their close combat abilities were terrifying. When they saw Long Xing bringing outsiders in, many demi-dragon cast curious gazes over. Brother Yi, third uncle, has already informed the clan leader about your matter. Now we'll just stay here and wait for the clan leader to receive us, Long Xing said absent-mindedly. It was obvious that he was not in a good mood. Yi Fei knew that Long Xing was definitely not happy about the humiliation outside the Divine Devil City. He couldn't help but look around and say, "Brother Long, is the Qin family very strong? I see that your dragon tribe bloodline is very strong. Why do you have to swallow your pride in the face of the Qin family?" Even the middle-aged man who had attacked them had only taught them a lesson and not killed them. Was the mighty dragon tribe really willing to accept such humiliation? Long Xing's expression also became strange. "Brother Yi, did the previous clan leader not tell you anything? Although we demi-dragons are born with strong bloodlines, there are also hidden dangers. That is, we can't perfectly merge the human and dragon blood in our bodies. Instead, it will form a certain Achilles heel. Once someone grasps this Achilles heel, they can easily kill us. The reason why I held back previously was because my Achilles heel had already been revealed to the Qin clan by the woman I love. At the same cultivation realm, even the weakest Tao Lord would be able to grasp my weakness and kill me." Long Xing's expression was extremely dejected. Yi Fei could understand his frustration. After all, his earthly sovereign bloodline also had a hidden danger. Moreover, it was more terrifying than the bloodline of demi-dragons because it was the curse of the ancient god. Without becoming an ancient god, there was no way to remove it. Is there no way to make up for this flaw? Yi Fei continued to ask. It's not that easy. The ancestors of us demi-dragons all had various bloodline flaws and were abandoned by the true dragon tribe. If you want to make up for this flaw, you either have to gain the recognition of the dragon tribe and be bestowed with pure dragon blood, or find the Demon Emperor scripture that was created by the primordial demon emperor. It's said that the primordial demon emperor turned from a human into a demon. His demon emperor scripture has the incredible ability to merge with demon blood. Long Xing continued. Yi Fei's expression became more and more strange. He had been thinking about why the slovenly Taoist had asked him to come to the Divine Devil City. Could it be that the slovenly Taoist knew that he had obtained the Demon Emperor scripture, so he asked him to come and impart the Demon Emperor scripture to his people? Just as Yi Fei was thinking, the middle-aged man appeared again and said in a low voice, "Come with me, clan leader. He will meet you in the innermost Dragon Palace." Dragon Palace? That's the highest standard of reception for us demi-dragons. Brother Yi, are you the illegitimate son of the previous clan leader? Are you here to acknowledge your ancestors? Also, I can faintly sense the aura of a demon dragon around Brother Yi. Roar? In the beast mark space, while Xiao Chao was sleeping and secretly eating spirit stones, the dragon turtle suddenly looked up with a guilty conscience and looked around. Yi Fei, who was walking in front, almost fell down. Long Xing's imagination was really terrifying. The dragon palace of the dragon clan was built with the bones of countless flood dragons. Although they had been dead for many years, Yi Fei could still feel the strong murderous aura from the bones. There was no doubt that these flood dragons were extremely powerful demon beasts when they were alive. There were many Tao Lords and even half-step divine Lord Flood Dragons on the pillars of the Dragon Palace. These flood dragons were frozen on the pillars. Their scarlet eyes were like red gems that flickered with a faint bloody light. Their ferocious aura made many warriors feel weak in the knees. However, Yi Fei did not seem to see these flood dragons. As he walked, he commented, "These flood dragons are so fat. By the way, Blackie, don't you like to eat flood dragon meat the most? Why don't you eat dark stones in the future and eat flood dragon meat instead?" Roar. Hearing that Yi Fei suddenly wanted to eat their meat, the countless flood dragons on the pillars roared angrily. In the beast mark space, the dragon turtle had tears on its face. It reluctantly spat out Renzu's space belt that it had plundered from Blackie's mouth one by one. Every time it spat out a strip, the dragon turtle was heartbroken. Yi Fei, on the other hand, felt greatly relieved. This stupid turtle really thought that it had plundered Renzu's treasures. He did not see it and even hid it from him. Humph. Chapter 2493. Young Clan Leader, you are Yi Fei? This is the personal token of Clan Leader Long Tuo. What is your relationship with Long Tuo? As soon as he entered the Dragon Hall, he was questioned by a powerful divine lord. The person who spoke was a middle-aged man in black robes. He was a late-stage divine lord and was only a step away from becoming a half-ancestor. Like Long Xing, half-dragon people seemed to be born with a sound-wave ability. This ability could affect a cultivator's soul and make them speak the truth involuntarily. Yi Fei also felt his head sink. He could not help but say, "I have nothing to do with Senior Sword Demon. It's just that Senior Sword Demon wants me to save someone. I am duty-bound to do so. That's why I came here under orders to find the location of the Dragon Chart Pavilion." Humph, you are not even a half-dragon person, and yet you want to enter the Dragon Chart Pavilion. It seems that Long Tuo is really old. He actually acknowledged an outsider. However, Long Tuo is only the previous clan leader. His acknowledgement is not enough. You must have my acknowledgement before you can enter. The middle-aged man in black robes seemed to be resentful. This made Yi Fei mutter to himself. It was obvious that the slovenly Taoist Long Tuo had left the dragon tribe, entered the divine prefecture, and transformed into the eight-armed sword demon. It did not seem that simple. It also did not seem that easy to enter the Dragon Chart Pavilion. However, the slovenly Taoist was still counting on him to save the Ninth Heaven Sword Master. He would not harm him. Yi Fei nodded. "Sure. What do I have to do to obtain your acknowledgement?" "It's very simple. Do you see those flood dragons? They are the guardians of the Dragon Chart Pavilion. If you defeat them, you will obtain their acknowledgement." The middle-aged man in black robes said coldly. It was obvious that he was still resentful. He did not treat Yi Fei well. Since their master had said so, the flood dragons that had been reared in captivity naturally sharpened their claws and scales. The leader stared at Yi Fei maliciously. Yi Fei smiled bitterly. "Senior, what do you plan to do? Why? Are you afraid? If you are afraid, then hurry up and leave. For the sake of the previous clan leader, I won't make things difficult for you." The black-robed middle-aged man couldn't wait to drive Yi Fei away. Yi Fei was even more speechless. "Senior, I'm not afraid. I'm just worried that I won't be able to hold back and injure these flood dragons." "Shut up. This honest man is detestable. It's one thing for him to be small and ugly, but he still dares to speak such arrogant words. Swallow him whole." Roar, roar, roar. Most of the flood dragons were hot-tempered. Yi Fei's words were even more arrogant and domineering, which infuriated all the flood dragons. The black-robed middle-aged man was also displeased. Long Tuo, that old guy, is getting more and more out of hand. Back then, he inexplicably made a fuss about going to the Divine Land to find a way to solve the hidden problems of our tribe. But after so many years, instead of returning, he sent an arrogant brat to do it. Does he really think that there are no dragons in our tribe? Rumble. Sword Chi whistled, and the dragons screamed. The black-robed middle-aged man suddenly saw a sea of sword light and blood appear in the dragon hall. Then, the flood dragons were smashed to the ground, twitching all over. The dozens of flood dragons that attacked Yi Fei were all smashed to the ground by Yi Fei's heavy sword in less than 10 breaths. The black-robed middle-aged man's eyes almost popped out. Yi Fei was still calm, and a simple smile that was unique to honest men appeared on his face. "Senior, does this mean that I've received your approval?" This smile was very contagious, and the black-robed middle-aged man smiled as well. Then, he flew into a rage out of humiliation and roared, "Bastard!" Their trial was easy to pass, but the trial of this patriarch was not so easy. Defying Dragon Seal. Boom. The black-robed middle-aged man suddenly formed a seal, and a black defying dragon appeared. This defying dragon was heaven-defying. It was the reverse scale of a dragon, and anyone who offended it would be infuriated. The profound force fluctuations of a late-stage divine lord caused the entire dragon hall to shake violently. The flood dragons that were smashed to the ground were all grinning from ear to ear. They cheered. "The patriarch will definitely teach this arrogant brat a lesson." Strange. I smell a hateful aura on him. It's like the aura of the dragon turtle clan that was struck by lightning. Could this person be a dragon turtle spirit? If that's the case, we have to beat him to death. Roar. The hostile roars of the flood dragons came from all around. The dragon turtle in the beast mark space was so frightened that it didn't even eat its profound stones. It hurriedly burrowed into Xiao Chao's bed to avoid being discovered by the other flood dragons. After all, dragon turtles and flood dragons were natural enemies. It was fine if they were stronger, but if they were weaker, the dragon turtle could only retract its tail and be a turtle. While the flood dragons were conversing, Yi Fei remained as still as a mountain. A phantom divine cauldron appeared in his hand, and he smashed it forward with all his might. The defying dragon that was charging at him had already been smashed to pieces. It roared and turned into a stream of light. The black-robed middle-aged man who attacked also cried out in shock. Recently, news came from the divine continent. Something big has happened to the Earth Carnage proclamation of the Crimson Lunar Divine Dynasty. Not only did an ancient god awaken and turn into a corpse spirit, but it also destroyed half of Crimson Lunar Imperial City. There's also a young heretical demon named Yi Fei. He controls the regal celestial palace and is ranked first on the Earth Carnage proclamation. That person also seems to have a cauldron that can fight a divine lord. Senior, I am Yi Fei. However, I'm not a heretical demon. I'm actually an honest person. Yi Fei's expression was a little dark, and he had no choice but to emphasize it again. The flood dragons also cast disdainful gazes at him. The dark force middle-aged man also looked at Yi Fei in disbelief. You're actually Yi Fei. Now that the Crimson Lunar Divine Dynasty is looking for you all over the divine continent, you actually ran to the Godfiend city. I understand what the previous patriarch meant. He wants you to come to the Dragon Clan to seek refuge. He doesn't really want you to join the Dragon Chart Pavilion. The black-robed middle-aged man directly confirmed Yi Fei's purpose for coming here. Yi Fei sneered in his heart. How could he not see that the black-robed middle-aged man was actually afraid of letting him enter the Dragon Chart Pavilion? However, the more this person was like this, the more Yi Fei was interested in the Dragon Chart Pavilion. Senior, you've misunderstood again. I'm not here to seek refuge. I'm here to make a deal with the Dragon Clan because of Senior Sword Demon. Yi Fei continued to maintain the simple smile of an honest person. The black-robed middle-aged man also looked at Yi Fei with suspicion. You want to use this deal to exchange for the right to enter the Dragon Chart Pavilion? Young man, you're very ambitious. Yi Fei continued to smile. The greater one's ability, the greater one's ambition. Senior, let's not beat around the bush. I heard that the Dragon Clan has been searching for the Demon Emperor's scripture to solve the hidden danger of the Draconians fusing with the dragon's blood. I'm not talented, but I happen to have the complete Demon Emperor's scripture. As he spoke, Yi Fei took out the Demon Emperor's scripture that he had snatched from Nalan Shui's hands. He only opened a page, and let the black-robed middle-aged man take a look. Then, he turned and left without saying anything. The black-robed middle-aged man was angry and anxious. This kid was so arrogant even when he was asking for help. However, for the sake of the Demon Emperor's scripture, the black-robed middle-aged man still squeezed out a smile. Chapter 2494. Long Jiao, nephew, since you've become the young clan leader, then we're a family. As the saying goes, a family doesn't need to be so formal. We, the Draconians, still need some time to cultivate the Demon Emperor's scripture. However, we have no choice but to participate in the battle of the Fiend God Forbidden Land that occurs once every 10 years in the Fiend God City. Therefore, we'll leave this battle to you, young clan leader. Outside the Dragon Palace, Long Xing watched in disbelief as Yi Fei was not only invited into the Dragon Palace, but was also escorted out by the current clan leader, Long Guang, in an incomparably warm tone. Behind him was a large group of unfriendly flood dragons. What was even more exaggerated was that Yi Fei had somehow become the next clan leader of the Draconians. Long Xing was completely stunned. He suddenly prostrated himself in admiration of Yi Fei. Yi Fei was even more stunned. He vaguely remembered that he had come to look for the Dragon Chart Pavilion. How did he suddenly become a candidate for the clan leader of the Draconians, and was even forcefully recommended to participate in the battle of the Fiend God Forbidden Land? However, Long Guang was indeed a member of the slovenly Taoist clan. The shamelessness of the two was completely compatible. Yi Fei did not even have time to ask before the Demon Emperor's scripture was taken away from him. He was also invited out by Long Guang. The only thing he received was the identity of a candidate for the clan leader and a token to enter the Dragon Chart Pavilion. Brother Yi, no, young clan leader, you're really amazing. Just a short while after you entered, the clan leader actually appointed you as the next clan leader. Tell me honestly, are you the illegitimate son of the previous clan leader? Don't worry, I'm a tight-lipped person. I promise I won't tell anyone else. Long Xing had a gossipy expression. Scram to the side. Yi Fei's face was dark. This Long Xing had even used a honey trap on the Qin clan and revealed his weakness. With his big mouth, it would be strange if he believed him. However, Long Xing's big mouth also had a benefit. Yi Fei probed, Long Xing, what kind of place is the Dragon Chart Pavilion? The Dragon Chart Pavilion is the ancestral land of the half-dragon tribe. Only the tribe leader and the candidates for the tribe leader can enter. Long Xing's expression was serious. At the same time, he lowered his voice and whispered, Brother Yi, since you are not the illegitimate son of the previous clan leader, why did the clan leader choose you to be the next clan leader? This is very strange. Weird my ass. I'll be honest with you. Actually, I'm not the illegitimate son of the previous clan head, but the illegitimate son of the current clan head. However, I was taken away by the previous clan head many years ago. Do you understand the reason? Yi Fei suddenly transmitted his voice mysteriously. What? Brother Yi, not only did you become the young patriarch, you're actually the illegitimate son of the current patriarch. Boom. Draconians had loud voices to begin with, and with Long Xing's big mouth, his voice was like thunder. His excited roar had been heard by the nearby Draconians long ago, and they quickly spread this explosive news. The entire half-dragon tribe was shocked, especially when they learned that Yi Fei had actually become the next clan leader. This made many people feel indignant. This news quickly reached the ears of a woman. This woman was called Long Jiao, and she was the daughter of the current clan leader. She was also the most promising candidate to become the next clan leader among the Draconians. However, not only had Long Jiao failed to obtain the position of clan leader, but she had also mysteriously gained an older brother or younger brother. Yi Fei also didn't know that Draconians were different from other races. Draconians only had one partner in their lifetime. When Yi Fei said this, Long Jiao naturally misunderstood. She thought that Long Guang had betrayed her mother and actually had an illegitimate son outside. Long Jiao was furious on the spot. Men, come with me to the Dragon Chart Pavilion. I want to see just what ability this younger brother or older brother has to dare snatch my position as clan leader the moment he returned. Thus, when Long Xing brought him to the Dragon Chart Pavilion, Yi Fei saw a woman with a beautiful dragon horn on her head. She was wearing dragon armor, and her beautiful eyes were glaring at him. You are Yi Fei, the illegitimate son that shameless old bastard Long Guang secretly gave birth to? That's right, big sis Jiao. This is Yi Fei. Speaking of which, you should call him Big Brother or Big Brother, Long Xing continued. The moment he said those words, Long Jiao's face turned pitch black. Yi Fei's face turned ashen. He suddenly had the urge to beat Long Xing to death. He regretted making such a joke with Long Xing facing Long Jiao's furious gaze. He could only brace himself and walk over. He said apologetically, Miss, you misunderstood. Actually, enough nonsense. Long Jiao, will never acknowledge an older brother like you. If you want to enter the Dragon Chart Pavilion, you have to get past me first. Coiling Dragon Seal. Draconians were experts in seal arts. Long Jiao had pushed the power of her seal arts to the limit. When she used her seal arts, she was able to draw upon the power of heaven and earth to create a divine ability. The image of a coiling dragon appeared in the air. It raised its head and roared as if it had a life of its own. It furiously charged at Yi Fei. Yi Fei could only bitterly smile. In the end, this was the Dragon Clan's territory. The dragon sect's anger was caused by his joke. How could he attack at this time? The azure dragon wings on his back flapped, and Yi Fei's figure charged into the distance. Seeing the divine ability Yi Fei used, the spectating Draconians all trembled. Many of them cried out, "That's my Dragon Clan's Dragon Wing divine ability. It's just that it's not complete. It's been partially modified so that it can be used by humans as well." What human? That's the young clan leader. Didn't you sense the faint demonic dragon aura on the young clan leader's body? That dragon aura is a little strange. It seems to have the smell of a turtle. When I smell it, I think of those shameless dragon turtles that chased me everywhere when I was wandering the outside world. A certain dragon in human form had an unfriendly look on his face. Upon hearing this, the dragon turtle's head, which had just poked out of the beast mark space, quickly shrank back. It would rather not be attacked and starve. It had to keep a low profile. After all, the dragon that had spoken was a true divine lord. He was also the guardian of the Dragon Chart Pavilion. Seeing Long Jiao attack Yi Fei, God Lord Flood Dragon still made a move to stop Long Jiao, even though he didn't like Yi Fei very much. Since he is a clan leader candidate, he is the owner of the Dragon Chart Pavilion. Don't be rude. Long Jiao was angry and anxious. She pointed at Yi Fei fiercely and shouted, "What young clan leader? I haven't acknowledged him yet. Yi Fei, do you dare fight me? Whoever wins will be the next clan leader." "Sorry, I'm not interested in you." Yi Fei glanced at Long Jiao indifferently. After all, he still needed to stay in the half-dragon world. He couldn't be bothered to get into a conflict with Long Jiao, so he simply turned around and left. He planned to wait for this fiery woman to cool down before entering the Dragon Chart Pavilion. After all this time, you're just a coward. What right do you have to be the young clan leader? What right do you have to lead us to participate in the battle in the forbidden land of the gods and demons? Long Jiao's gaze became even more disdainful. There was a faint trace of disappointment in her eyes. Her elder brother was actually such a coward. Chapter 2495. Forbidden Land of Gods and Devils. In the end, under Celestial Lord Jiaolong's persuasion, Long Jiaojiao left in a huff. She went to find her father and personally argued with him. Unfortunately, after obtaining the Demon Emperor's scripture, Long Guang went into seclusion and didn't show himself at all. This made the rumors even more sinister. In the end, even the Dragon Clan's janitors knew about it. Yi Fei no longer wanted to beat Long Xing to death. Instead, he wished he could beat him to death, save him, and then continue beating him to death. However, Long Jiaojiao had great power and influence within the dragon race. When she saw that Yi Fei didn't want to fight, she just had to issue an order. The young men and elders of the dragon race all stood on Long Jiaojiao's side and glared at Yi Fei coldly. The only exception was Long Xing, who was more thick-skinned and famous for being a blabbermouth. His clansmen avoided him like the plague, but he had a good relationship with Yi Fei. Since Long Jiaojiao had blocked the entrance to the Dragon Chart Pavilion, Yi Fei could only stay at Long Xing's place for the time being. At the same time, he also inquired about some information. Among them, the one that attracted Yi Fei the most was undoubtedly the Battle of the Fiend God Forbidden Grounds that was held every 10 years in Fiend God City. The so-called Forbidden Land of Gods and Devils was the intersection of the Divine Land and the Devil World. 10,000 years ago, it was once a battlefield. It was said that after the earthly sovereign failed to attack the Red Moon Divine Dynasty, he took part of his army and retreated to the Forbidden Land. He wanted to enter the Demon Province and make a comeback. Unfortunately, earthly sovereign's action was betrayed by a traitor. In the Forbidden Land, he was completely surrounded by the army of the Divine Imperial Court. The two sides fought a bloody battle. In the end, earthly sovereign self-detonated and died, along with countless Renzu and divine emperors of the Divine Imperial Court. Thus, the Forbidden Land of Celestial Devils was formed. It was even rumored that many of the martial artists in the Divine Devil City were the surviving family members of the earthly sovereign's army. This made Yi Fei even more curious about the god-demon Forbidden Land. In any case, Long Jiaojiao was guarding the Dragon Chart Pavilion. Before the misunderstanding was cleared up, there was no way to enter. Yi Fei decided to let Long Xing lead the way to the Fiend God Forbidden Land to broaden his horizons. Long Xing didn't refuse. After all, Yang's young lord, Long Xing wanted to befriend Yi Fei so that he could gain some benefits in the clan. Taking advantage of the night, the two of them left the Fiend God City and rushed to the Forbidden Land of Fiend Gods. Young Patriarch, look. Up ahead is the Forbidden Land of Divinity and Demons. Too many martial artists have died here. Many of them were human ancestors and divine lords. After they died, their resentment soared to the heavens, turning this place into a land of corpse fiends. If a lower-level martial artist enters, it's very likely that corpse fiends will enter their body, instantly turning them from humans into corpse fiends. You? There, long of Suv. Demon, was a god. By Teat S's of course of Demon. Demon S. Demon S. Long Demon God. How dare you, Demon? Who allowed you to walk out of the Forbidden Land? Suddenly, two figures of light rushed down from the mountain peak outside the Fiend God Forbidden Land. They wore the same clothes, and even the weapons they used were exactly the same. Sensing the danger, the corpse devil stopped. His ruddy face suddenly turned ashen white, and his eyes turned dark green. His fangs protruded, and his corpse chi soared into the sky. Xiao Chao was so frightened that he quickly grabbed the dragon turtle's tail and choked it. He hid under the spirit medicine quilt and quickly fell asleep. Yi Fei was also surprised to see the two warriors fighting against the corpse demon. Long Xing, who had a big mouth, had already explained excitedly, "Now we have a good show to watch." The forbidden land of divinity and devil is controlled by the Kai family. Every 10 years, the 3 big families of the divine devil city will compete for the control of the forbidden land of divinity and devil. Speaking up to here, Long Xing seemed to have thought of something and his expression became resentful. Yi Fei did not ask. He found an excuse to let Long Xing return to the Dragon Clan. He looked at the forbidden land of Fiend God thoughtfully. With Yi Fei's strength, he was not afraid of the demon corpse. But how could he avoid the Kai family and enter? That was the problem. Right, I have an idea. Blackie, come out and help me dig a hole. Yi Fei shouted into the beast mark space. The dragon turtle was motionless inside. It was even snoring loudly. Yi Fei's face darkened. He said in a muffled voice, "More food." The snoring continued. 2 meals. Roar. A black mouth finally appeared. The dragon turtle's fighting spirit was high as it rushed out of the beast mark space and started digging frantically at the ground. Its speed made Yi Fei widen his eyes. Clearly, after cultivating the Demon Emperor's scripture, the dragon turtle's digging speed had increased. In the air ahead, the 2 Kai family Dao Lords were still trying to drive the demon corpse back into the forbidden land of Fiend God. They did not notice that a black turtle had dug a hole not far from them. It led directly into the forbidden land of Fiend God. Inside, corpse chi and ghost chi filled the air. The ghost chi, together with the remnant souls of Renzu and the divine lord who died in battle, turned into terrifying spirits. They let out ghostly howls in the air. The dragon turtle was so scared that its black mouth turned pale. It rushed back into the beast mark space and buried its head in the blanket. However, its turtle shell stuck out high, revealing a large part of its shell. Yi Fei was speechless. Boom! A layer of dazzling sword light suddenly erupted from Yi Fei's body, driving away the approaching spirits and corpse chi. Yi Fei continued forward into the forbidden land of Fiend God. The forbidden land was extremely vast. It was a terrifying battlefield. Along the way, there were many fallen flags and broken weapons. On the ground, there were also dried bloodstains and cracks and ravines caused by divine art. The earthly emperor's general, Renzu Zhou, died here. Continuing forward, Yi Fei found a large tomb that had been dug up. It belonged to a Renzu who died in battle under the earthly emperor's command. The Crimson Moon Dynasty's Prince Ing Chang died here. Not long after, another large tomb was found. This tomb was decorated magnificently. It was the tomb of a prince of the dynasty, and this prince was Renzu. Ahead, Yi Fei's divine consciousness found more and more tombs. They were either Renzu's or divine emperor's tombs. With so many tombs here, there must be some treasures of divine emperors and Renzu in them. It's no wonder that the Kai, Long, and Qin families of Fiend God City have to fight in the forbidden land of Fiend God every 10 years. As long as the tombs here are not completely excavated, the forbidden land of Fiend God will be the greatest wealth of Fiend God City and the opportunity for the 3 families to rise. However, these tombs are not what I want. Yi Fei shook his head and stopped paying attention to these tombs. He didn't come to the forbidden land of Fiend God to rob tombs like the 3 families. His original intention was to find the place where the earthly emperor died. Moreover, Yi Fei vaguely felt that the slovenly Taoist's real purpose in asking him to come to Fiend God City was to help the dragon tribe and to explore the forbidden land of Fiend God. But what does this forbidden land of Fiend God have to do with the 9th Heaven Sword Master? Could it be? Suddenly, Yi Fei thought of an extremely bold possibility. Chapter 2496. The Sword Spirit Wails. This impregnable pass was the place where the earthly sovereign led the remnants of his army and fought for the last time. On the impregnable pass, Yi Fei saw countless sabers, swords, and mystiques. What shocked him the most was that this impregnable pass was shockingly similar to the impregnable pass of the human race in the Earth domain. It was just that this impregnable pass was bigger and stronger. It was very likely that this was a steel wall that could stop the Emperor of the Ancients. Unfortunately, no matter how strong the defense was, it could not stop the betrayal of a traitor. In the end, this impregnable pass was breached. The earthly sovereign and his remaining troops were all defeated and killed, leaving only this impregnable pass and Renzu's tombs. Yi Fei was not interested in the tombs that had been excavated by others, even if it was Renzu who was buried there. Only this impregnable pass aroused his strong feelings and curiosity. He tried to approach the impregnable pass carefully. Xiao Chao suddenly reminded him nervously. Even though Xiao Chao was afraid of ghosts and had his eyes tightly closed, his heaven and earth divine eyes could still sense many hidden profound energy auras. After Xiao Chao's reminder, Yi Fei discovered that there was actually an extremely well-hidden serial killing array in front of him. If he accidentally stepped into it, even if his life wasn't in danger, he would definitely alarm the Kai family. Xiao Chao, hurry up and find the weakness of the formation. I want to enter this impregnable pass, Yi Fei said in a deep voice. Then, he said carelessly, moreover, I can faintly feel that there are endless profound veins inside. The words can't finish eating obviously stimulated Xiao Chao. Xiao Chao instantly opened its eyes and waved its small hands, making a cheering gesture for itself. Then, Xiao Chao ran out of the beast mark space with a swoosh. The divine eyes of heaven and earth only glanced at the serial killing formation. Xiao Chao had already grabbed the dragon tortoise. She grabbed the dragon tortoise's tail and shook it in a domineering manner. The dragon tortoise had already turned from a palm-sized tortoise to a ferocious demon the size of a round table. It carried Xiao Chao and Yi Fei and ran happily into the array. Obviously, Yi Fei's casual remark about not being able to finish it provoked the dragon tortoise more than Xiao Chao. Even when running, the dragon turtle left afterimages behind. Because of Xiao Chao's divine eyes of heaven and earth, the Kai family's killing array outside the impregnable pass was useless. Yi Fei quickly passed through the array and entered the impregnable pass. Just as he walked in, his divine soul suddenly trembled violently. Not good, it's the indestructible sword token. It's actually awakening on its own. Boom. Before Yi Fei could suppress it with his spiritual sense, the indestructible sword token suddenly went berserk. A crazy destructive aura soared into the sky, completely exposing Yi Fei's location. Yi Fei's expression changed drastically. He was shocked to see that the impregnable pass in front of him seemed to have changed after the indestructible sword token had awakened. It felt as if there was another layer of space pressing down with great pressure. Such a huge commotion immediately attracted the attention of the Kai family's expert. There were already powerful divine lights in some areas of the impregnable pass, dispelling the ghost chi and corpse fiends. They were rushing over, and they weren't Dao lords, but divine lords. Yi Fei didn't have time to think. He just used all his strength to suppress the indestructible sword token again. At the same time, a sorrowful emotion was transmitted from the indestructible sword token. The indestructible sword token was crying out in sorrow? Could it be that the Nine Heavens Sword Master obtained the indestructible sword token from the forbidden land of gods and demons? Is this why Senior Sword Demon wanted me to come to the forbidden land of gods and demons? Yi Fei thought to himself. He quickly glanced at the dragon turtle, but the dragon turtle was nowhere to be seen. It had already carried Xiao Chao and ran into the killing array to hide. This stupid turtle! Yi Fei's face darkened as he ran into the array. At the same time, many people were flying over from all directions of the impregnable pass. A few of them were divine lords, and they all looked serious. What's going on? The opening of the earthly emperor's heavens only happens once every 10 years. It hasn't even been 10 years yet. Why is the earthly emperor's heavens showing signs of opening? Elder, when the earthly emperor's heavens opened, Brother Kai Ming felt a strange aura that interrupted him from condensing the corpse fiends. Do you think someone is invading? A beautiful girl walked out from the depths of the impregnable pass. Seeing her, the Divine Lord Elders all smiled. Qin Shi, you don't have to worry. If someone is invading, the 3,000 killing arrays outside the impregnable pass will be activated. Even Renzu can't sneak in without being noticed. So, you don't have to worry. This girl was Long Xing's ex-girlfriend, Qin Shi. She was the third daughter of the Qin family, and the most beautiful girl in the Qin family. But now, after abandoning Long Xing, this third Miss Qin had mixed up with the Kai family again. Yi Fei couldn't help but wonder, that's strange. Aren't the Qin family, the Kai family, and the Long family enemies? Why is Qin Shi with the Kai family? The Divine Lord's words didn't reassure Qin Shi. On the contrary, she looked even more worried. She said, "Can the 3,000 killing arrays outside really stop Renzu? Elder, I'm not doubting you. I'm just worried that I've betrayed the family for Brother Ming. If people know about this..." Ha ha ha, Qin Shi, don't worry. No one will know about this. You can stay in the Qin family and be our spy. When the Kai family swallows the Qin family in the future, not only will we agree to your marriage with the strongest genius of the Kai family, we will also let your father become the new patriarch of the Qin family, another Divine Lord said with strong expectations. Qin Shi's worry turned into joy. She found that everything was fine and the earthly imperial heavens hadn't really descended. She bowed slightly and continued to walk into the depths of the impregnable pass, returning to the place where Kai Ming cultivated. After Qin Shi and the other disciples of the Kai family had left, one of the Divine Lords said coldly, "Elder brother, Qin Shi is talented, but she's too scheming. Kai Ming is the strongest genius of the Kai family. I feel that Qin Shi isn't good enough for him." Humph, the Qin family isn't good enough for the Kai family. Ming only accepted this girl to make it easier for him to use her against the Qin family. Just wait. 10 years ago, the Kai family controlled the forbidden land of the gods and devils. 10 years later, the Kai family will dominate the God-fiend city. With this woman, the Qin family is completely finished. It seems like our main target is still that group of demi-dragons. Another monarch god elder spoke. Hearing this, the last monarch god smiled sinisterly. The strongest members of the Long family are Long Xing and Long Jiaojiao. It's a pity that Long Xing is a blabbermouth. He was tricked by the Qin family and revealed his weakness. He's no longer a threat. As for Long Jiaojiao, the Heavenly Devil Pavilion will deal with her. Just wait and see. The other Sir Gods were moved. They looked at the last Sir God and said, "Seventh Elder, your cultivation level is the weakest, but you are resourceful. Could it be that you already have a way to persuade the Heavenly Devil Pavilion to reject the marriage alliance with the Long family?" Chapter 2497. Celestial Demon Young Lord. After the Divine Lords finished speaking, they dispersed and continued to cultivate with the help of the corpses. Yi Fei was secretly alarmed when he saw this. He attempted to absorb some of the corpse baneful aura and soon discovered that the corpse baneful aura in the forbidden land of the Godfiends was mixed with Origin's auras. Furthermore, they were Divine Lord Origins and human ancestor Origins. Yi Fei finally understood why the Godfiend city had to hold a battle every 10 years. Obviously, the three parties were fighting for the origin energy in the corpses. Renzu's origin energy was especially effective for martial artists below the Divine Lord realm. Not to mention, there was an earthly emperor's heavens hidden in the earthly emperor pass. There must be more precious ancient emperor's origin energy in there. Sword Soul Whales, earthly emperor's heavens. Senior Sword Demon, is this why you asked me to come to the Godfiend city? Yi Fei watched the Divine Lords of the Kai family leave quietly. The last Divine Lord's plot against the Long family worried Yi Fei. No, it's more important to tell the Long family about this. After making sure that no Divine Lords were spying on them, Yi Fei left the forbidden land of gods and devils as fast as he could. At the edge of the forbidden land, the two Dao lords of the Kai family were still cleaning up the corpse demons that had accidentally walked out of the forbidden land. They didn't notice that someone had entered the forbidden land right under their noses. The entire Long family wasn't affected by Yi Fei's departure. Instead, under the influence of some people, Yi Fei was afraid of Long Jiaojiao. Not only did he not dare to go to the Dragon Chart Pavilion to fight with Long Jiaojiao, he even went into hiding. This disappointed many Draconians. Outside the Dragon Chart Pavilion, Long Jiaojiao's eyes flashed with deep disappointment. Why was she so insistent on becoming the family head? She didn't want to marry the celestial demon young lord. Unfortunately, half of the elders in the Long clan supported the marriage alliance with the heavenly demon pavilion. This was especially so after Long Xing's big mouth exposed his weakness. The number of elders supporting the marriage increased even more. As such, even clan chief Long Guang was unable to refuse. Today just so happened to be the day that the young master of the Heavenly Devil Pavilion came to present the betrothal gifts and marry Long Jiaojiao. Those elders who supported the marriage alliance had also arrived outside the Dragon Chart Pavilion early in the morning. They earnestly advised, Jiaojiao, the young master of the Heavenly Devil Pavilion is a man of striking appearance. He is a perfect match for you. Even the patriarch did not object to this matter. Why must you be so stubborn? We are doing this for your own good. Long Jiaojiao sneered at Huang Xiaolong's words, and she retorted angrily, What do you mean by for my own good? You're just trying to join hands with the heavenly demon palace and enter the earthly sovereign's heavens to search for the earthly sovereign's origin energy to help you break through to a higher realm. These words caused the expressions of many elders to change. Some were ashamed, some were embarrassed, and there were even some elders who angrily shouted, Don't speak nonsense. We are not doing this for ourselves. We are also doing this for the entire Long clan. Long Jiaojiao, you are also a member of the Dragon clan. Are you just going to watch as we Draconians decline? The last words moved Long Jiaojiao. She could disregard her own happiness, but she couldn't disregard the survival of the Draconians. At this moment, the sound of drums and gongs came from outside. A group of black-clothed men from the demonic palace carried all sorts of gifts into the Long residence and arrived outside the Dragon Chart Pavilion. The one leading them was a handsome young man in crimson clothes. He had a lot of makeup on, and he actually had a feminine allure. Long Jiaojiao, I've already said that you are destined to be my woman. Now, come with me. We will get married today and enter the bridal chamber. As he spoke, the young man's eyes scanned Long Jiaojiao's body without the slightest scruple. Long Jiaojiao was so angry that her face turned pale. The first elder of the Long clan who was in charge of the marriage was beaming with joy. He cupped his hands at the heavenly demon young master and said, Nephew, we can get married, but what about the alliance between the Dragon clan and the heavenly demon palace? Everyone, don't worry. Our palace master has said that the heavenly demon palace will be loyal to whoever is the wife of our young master. As Long Jiaojiao marries our young master, the heavenly demon palace will naturally live and die with the Long clan. A demonic divine lord with a serious expression walked out from the heavenly demon palace's group. He even swore a heavenly demon blood oath with the heavenly demon young master on the spot. This completely showed the heavenly demon palace's great sincerity. The elders of the Long clan who supported the marriage were naturally beaming with joy. Long Jiaojiao's face was incomparably pale. She watched as the heavenly demon young master walked over, pinched her face, and was about to kiss her in public. Just as Long Jiaojiao was about to resist, the heavenly demon young master's cold voice sounded in her ears. Long Jiaojiao, you have to think clearly. Obtaining the support of the heavenly demon palace is the key to your victory in the battle of the fiend god Forbidden Land. I know that you definitely won't refuse me. Hee hee. Under everyone's gaze, The heavenly demon young master actually stretched out his long tongue and licked Long Jiao Jiao's face. He clearly didn't treat Long Jiao Jiao as his wife, but as a plaything. Seeing this scene, many of the Long clan's youths were furious. Many of the elders were also incomparably embarrassed, but no one stopped this. Long Jiao Jiao finally closed her eyes in despair. For the sake of the Long clan, even if there was a pit of fire in front of her, she had to jump in. Seeing that the disgusting Long tongue was about to lick her face, a cold mocking voice suddenly sounded from the crowd. The Long clan is like this? You actually want to sacrifice a woman to protect the Long clan, and even allow this woman to be humiliated in public. You are not a group of dragons, but a group of insects. Boom! Startling sword light erupted from the crowd, enveloping the heavenly demon young master. The heavenly demon young master was greatly shocked. He couldn't be bothered to take advantage of Long Jiao Jiao. He hurriedly lashed out with his tongue, and his body strangely twisted. He actually dodged the sword light and had Long Jiao Jiao block it behind him. An even colder mocking voice came from the crowd. Did you all see that? This is your so-called marriage partner. She hasn't even married into the heavenly demon palace yet, and she's already being humiliated in public. Moreover, she's so heartless. From this insect you can see what kind of trash the heavenly demon palace is. You actually hope that such a heartless trash can live and die together through marriage? Many elders of the dragon tribe had ugly expressions on their faces. However, there were also some elders who were furious and shouted, "Who dares to speak rudely? This is the decision of our elders. Since when did an outsider like you have the right to interfere?" Roar. A loud dragon roar turned into a strong wind that pushed the crowd aside, revealing Yi Fei's unmoving figure. Long Jiao Jiao also looked at Yi Fei in shock. She hadn't expected that at the last moment it would be Yi Fei, whom she loathed and was disappointed in, to stand up and speak up for her. This elder brother isn't completely useless. He still has some courage. Long Jiao Jiao was somewhat happy. However, when she thought of Yi Fei's weak strength, which even she didn't dare to face, her eyes dimmed. Chapter 2498. Facing the Divine Monarch. What is that old fellow Long Guang doing? It's been so long, but he still hasn't come out to explain this matter? Yi Fei was very depressed. If he had known that Long Jiao Jiao would misunderstand, he wouldn't have played that joke with Long Xing. Moreover, he didn't stand up for Long Jiao Jiao. He simply didn't want the slovenly Taoist's family to be fooled by the Kai family and the demonic palace. However, when he saw Long Jiao Jiao's pitiful eyes, Yi Fei sighed and gave her an encouraging smile. Since you're willing to call me elder brother, then I can't ignore your matter. What a good ignore! This marriage is something that the demonic palace and the dragon clan have already discussed. Your patriarch has also agreed to it. The Long family must give us an explanation for this matter. The demonic young master was furious. He had come this time to toy with Long Jiao Jiao, but before he could do anything, he was almost killed by Yi Fei. The demonic young master was enraged. Feeling this anger, the great elder, who was afraid that he wouldn't be able to form an alliance with the demonic palace, roared in anger, "Step down! You're not qualified to criticize the matters of the dragon clan." "I'm not qualified? Are you saying that an old man who only knows how to compromise is qualified? Here's the family token. I now announce that this marriage is cancelled." Yi Fei sneered and suddenly took out a token. This caused the hearts of countless demi-dragons to tremble. The first elder was shocked as well. What did this kid do to deserve the clan leader to bestow the clan badge on him? As the saying goes, seeing the token is like seeing the patriarch. Demonic young master, take your gifts and scram. From now on, we don't welcome you here. Yi Fei held the token and coldly announced. Instantly, the faces of those from the demonic palace turned ugly. Young Patriarch, well done! Long Xing was elated when he saw this. He couldn't hold back his loud voice and shouted again. But this time, no one laughed at him. No matter how strong Yi Fei was, Yi Fei's courage to stand out at the critical moment had gained the recognition of many young draconians. The celestial demon young master's face instantly became distorted. Marrying Long Jiaojiao and humiliating the entire dragon tribe was the plan that the Kai family had given to the celestial demon palace. How could the celestial demon young master be willing to fail? What bullshit, young clanhead. Since we've already given the betrothal gifts, Long Jiaojiao is a member of our demonic palace. Even if she dies, she'll still be a ghost of our demonic palace. You think you can cancel it just because you want to? Who do you think you are? Get out of my way. Boom. In his rage, the celestial demon crowned scion directly attacked. Furthermore, he used a killing move as soon as he attacked. It was as if he wanted to kill Yi Fei in front of everyone, not caring about the dignity of the dragon race at all. The expressions of many elders changed once more. In the end, Yi Fei was the young clan head. Some elders prepared to make a move to stop the celestial demon crowned scion. However, at this moment, the first elder shouted coldly, "Don't interfere. I'd like to see what kind of capabilities he has to be the young clan leader, and yet he dares to order us elders around." Dong. Ignoring the first elder's mockery, Yi Fei remained as unmoving as a mountain. Sword light spread out from his body. Suddenly, it turned into a sea of blood that completely surrounded the celestial demon crowned scion. Innate magic skill, Taiji life-killing sword. The moment this sword appeared, it immediately suppressed the celestial demon crowned scion's demonic light. At the same time, Yi Fei took another step forward. The sword chi around him became even denser. The surging will of battle surged towards the celestial demon crowned scion like a raging wave. Ferocious demon. The celestial demon crowned scion roared in anger and humiliation. His body suddenly expanded, as if he wanted to turn into a horrifying ferocious demon. He wanted to tear apart this sea of blood and Yi Fei's body. However, the life-killing sword's light was too strong. The more the celestial demon crowned scion's body expanded, the more intense the surrounding deathly sword light became. Just as the celestial demon crowned scion's demonic body reached its limit, kill! The sea of blood that filled the sky suddenly shrank, condensing into a scarlet taiji that ruthlessly chopped down on the celestial demon crowned scion's demonic body. The celestial demon crowned scion's demonic body instantly shattered. He vomited blood and fell to the ground. Trash like you thinks you are worthy of attacking me? This is your last chance. Scram or die. Yi Fei raised his foot and continued forward. Every time his foot landed on the ground, a dense sword light would erupt. The many dragon race cultivators were shocked to discover that not only did Yi Fei severely injure the celestial demon crowned scion with one move, but he also did not use his sword from start to finish. The celestial demon crowned scion could not force out Yi Fei's sword. Long Jiaojiao's mouth gaped open. She even rubbed her eyes twice to confirm that what she saw wasn't an illusion. She originally thought that Yi Fei was timid and cowardly, but his true strength was actually so terrifying. Didn't this mean that as long as Yi Fei wanted to, he could defeat her in one move at any time? To think that she had stood here and declared that she would fight Yi Fei. Now that she thought about it, she felt ashamed. As the celestial demon crowned scion's side saw the celestial demon crowned scion heavily injured in one move, they were all enraged. The dragon race has gone too far. Today I have no choice but to take action. Bang! A vigorous sword might erupted from the body of a half-step divine lord of celestial demon crowned scion. This person stepped out from the crowd. He raised his hand and a terrifying demonic palm grabbed at Yi Fei. Young Patriarch! Yi Fei's responsibility and strength had undoubtedly obtained the approval of many Draconians. Seeing that the celestial demon-crowned scion wanted to gang up on him, many Draconians subconsciously stepped forward to help. At this time, the Great Elder coldly said, "Don't do anything. Let him fight alone. Does he think that just because he has some ability that he dares to be so impudent and disrespect his elders? With such a personality, how can he lead my clan?" The Draconians were forced to stop. "Big brother, I'll help you." Long Jiaojiao clenched her teeth and rushed over from the distance. "Young Patriarch, I'll help too." Long Xing ignored the Great Elder's ugly complexion and also rushed out. Soon after, more and more young Draconians roared, preparing to rush forward. "All of you, stop! Without the celestial demon crown, what can we use to fight for control of the forbidden land of divinity and demons with the Kai family?" The Great Elder's complexion paled. He didn't hesitate to personally take action and block Long Xing, Long Jiaojiao, and the others. The half-step divine lord of the celestial demon-crowned scion was overjoyed. He immediately unleashed his strongest power. This was no longer to injure Yi Fei, but to kill him on the spot. Yi Fei's indifferent expression suddenly revealed a trace of anger. "Kill me? You're not worthy." Cram. Yi Fei finally drew his sword. The Black Gold Emperor's sword carried an even more terrifying destructive light. It formed the Undying Emperor's sword and shattered the half-step Divine Lord's protective profound energy. With a plop, a head spurting blood rolled to Yi Fei's feet. With just one strike, the half-step Divine Lord of the Celestial Demon Crown was instantly killed. The Great Elder watched this scene in shock. All the Draconians were in an uproar. The Celestial Demon Crowned Scion was so frightened that his entire body trembled. He turned to the only Divine Lord of the Celestial Demon Crowned Scion and shouted, "Great Protector, save me!" Boom! A terrifying Divine Lord's aura erupted. Then, a gray figure covered in demonic energy viciously clawed at Yi Fei's face. Chapter 2499. Completely Dead. Boom! The demonic aura that filled the sky was as vast as the abyss as it pressed down on Yi Fei. The surrounding void began to corrode as a swamp of demonic aura appeared. "Be careful, that's the strongest ability of Demonic Palace, Demonic Swamp. Great Elder, what are you waiting for?" Long Jiaojiao looked anxious. At this moment, she had completely acknowledged Yi Fei as her elder brother. The first elders in action not only made Long Jiaojiao anxious, but many of the young Draconians also showed dissatisfied expressions. Long Xing was even more outspoken as he loudly shouted, "First Elder, even if Yi Fei offended you, that's still a private matter. How can an elder kill our clan's young patriarch just because of a small grudge? Impudent! It's not your place to criticize me." The Great Elder was enraged. However, Yi Fei was the young master after all. If he did not intervene when Yi Fei was in danger, it would be inexcusable. "Forget it. Now that he knows the immensity of heaven and earth, I'll intervene and save his life." "Why do I need you to save my life?" Yi Fei sneered when he heard this. The Demonic Palace's Divine Lord was strong, but unfortunately, he was only at the early stage of the Divine Lord realm. In Crimson Moon Imperial City, he could even kill Renzu. A mere Divine Lord was not enough to scare Yi Fei. "Sword, come!" The sword roared, forming a rumbling sound that tore through space and shattered the surrounding demonic aura swamp. Yi Fei wielded the Taiji solitary sword and broke the Demonic Palace's Divine Lord's ability. This had infuriated him. "Kid, you have completely infuriated me." Boom! An even more intense demonic aura erupted from the Demonic Palace's Divine Lord. That aura moved the Great Elder as he secretly praised. The Demonic Palace's demonic transformation lives up to its name. Now that he has transformed into a ferocious demon, his combat strength is even stronger. How can this kid withstand it? If he begs me, it will happen within the next 3 breaths. The first elder closed his eyes and started counting. He was looking forward to seeing Yi Fei lowering his head in front of him. Long Jiao and Long Xing also looked nervously at the celestial demon hall's divine lord, who had transformed into a ferocious demon. The ferocious demon roared, and the loud demonic sound shattered the space. Many demi-dragons were affected and quickly retreated, afraid of being attacked by the divine lord's sound waves. Deity Tribulation Blood Sword. Yi Fei's footsteps did not stop at all. Now that his bloodline had been upgraded to the 10th grade, he no longer needed to go crazy to activate his strongest natal superpower. The whistling blood sword suppressed the demonic light and shattered the demonic superpower of the Celestial Demon Hall's Divine Emperor. With a loud boom, the Celestial Demon Hall's protective dark force was torn apart by the sword light and a clear cut appeared. How is this possible? The Divine Lord of the Empyrean Demon Palace stared at his wounded chest in disbelief. A puny Dowlord had actually managed to break through his demonic body? Fortunately, he was a Divine Lord after all. No matter how strong Yi Fei's natal superpower was, it was impossible for him to kill a Divine Lord instantly. After all, this was a battle of a whole realm above his. However, the sword wound on his body still made the Divine Lord furious. He became even more demonic and ferocious. The injured demonic body reformed, and he clapped his hands. The whistling demonic aura was like a raging sea that swallowed up the world and Yi Fei's body. Yi Fei's strength completely ignited the Divine Lord of the Empyrean Demon Hall's murderous intent. However, the first elder was still hesitating at this moment. He could not put down his pride to help Yi Fei. The other Divine Lord elders could not stand it anymore. They decided to attack without the first elder's permission. Kill. At this moment, 6 dazzling heavenly cauldron lights suddenly exploded from the sky filled with demonic light. They quickly formed 6 patterns and mercilessly and quickly shattered the Divine Lord of the Empyrean Demon Hall's Divine Lord's body. However, the Divine Lord's vitality was too strong. Even after suffering 2 heavy blows, the Divine Lord of the Empyrean Demon Hall was still injured but not dead. He roared in anger and tried to retreat to recover. Kill. Shuizhan's consciousness soared into the sky. Seeing that 6 cauldrons were not enough, Yi Fei took out the real ghost deity cauldron amidst the sky filled with demonic light. He followed closely behind the 6th heavenly cauldron and smashed it forward. This is impossible. The Divine Lord of the Empyrean Demon Hall clearly realized that the 7th cauldron was different from the rest. It was a strong sense of danger. This made him unleash his strongest strength in an attempt to retreat. However, before he could retreat, the ghost deity cauldron's light completely enveloped him. It also released boundless 9 underworlds' power before it quickly turned into a stream of light and returned to Yi Fei's body. The demonic light that filled the sky and Yi Fei's sword beam instantly dissipated. Yi Fei held his sword and continued to stride forward. Behind him, there was a corpse lying on the ground. It was the corpse of a Divine Lord. Yi Fei had killed a Divine Lord in a single battle. The entire Long family was shocked. The first elder was ashamed. He felt that he had lost all face. He originally thought that Yi Fei would definitely be defeated by a Divine Lord and beg him for help. However, not only did Yi Fei not ask for help, he even killed the Empyrean Demon Hall's Divine Lord in front of everyone. First Elder, did you just say that my brother doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth? I think you are too old. You are no longer suitable for the position of First Elder. When I return, I will report this to my father and have you removed from the position of Elder. Long Jiao was elated. In her heart, she had completely acknowledged Yi Fei as her elder brother. The demi-dragons present also cheered in victory. On the Empyrean Demon Hall's side, everyone's faces were pale. The Empyrean demon Hall's young master was even scrambling to escape from the Long family. The other members of the Empyrean demon Hall also threw away their betrothal gifts and scattered in all directions, trying to escape. At this moment, the blood-red light that filled the sky suddenly turned into a sea of blood that enveloped the entire area. It even engulfed all the members of the Empyrean demon Hall. When the sea of blood finally disappeared, only the Empyrean demon Hall's young master was left lying on the ground, covered in sword wounds. The rest of the Empyrean demon Hall's members were all dead. Just now you said that you wanted me dead. Now I will fulfill your wish and let the Empyrean demon Hall die completely. Yi Fei sheathed his sword and suddenly looked at the Flood Dragon of the Dragon Chart Pavilion. The Divine Lord Flood Dragon suddenly trembled and looked at Yi Fei with an extremely fearful expression. A Tao Lord killing a Divine Lord. This was a miracle that had never happened in the history of God-Devil City. Countless demi-dragons looked at Yi Fei with reverence. Long Jiao's eyes were filled with worship. When Yi Fei sheathed his sword, she ran over excitedly and hugged Yi Fei's arm. She even kissed Yi Fei's face fiercely. Big brother, thank you. Long Jiao was very happy. Just as she was about to be pushed into a fire pit, it was Yi Fei who had forcefully saved her life. Thinking of this, the excited Long Jiao couldn't help but hug Yi Fei's arm even tighter. She was completely acting like a spoiled little girl to her big brother. Yi Fei almost fainted on the spot. Only heaven knew that he and Long Jiao weren't siblings. Chapter 2500. A storm is coming. Yi Fei, do you know what you've done? You've actually killed so many people from the demonic palace. Do you know that this is a crucial moment for our clan to join forces with the demonic palace to fight against the forbidden land of gods and devils? What you've done has ruined our clan's 10-year plan. The first elder roared angrily. He wasn't willing to give up his position. The only thing he could do was to slander Yi Fei as much as possible. After all, the demonic palace was a considerable force in the demon province. Although their headquarters weren't in the Divine Devil City, they weren't a force that the clans in the Divine Devil City could easily provoke. Hearing the first elder's words, a portion of the elders revealed worried or reproachful expressions as they looked at Yi Fei. One of the elders couldn't help but question Yi Fei. Young clan leader, you could have just stopped the marriage. Why did you have to kill everyone from the demonic palace? Do you know what kind of disaster this will bring to our clan? Are you blaming me? Yi Fei shook his head inwardly as his expression suddenly turned cold. The reason why he'd acted was because the slovenly Taoist had helped him. That was why he'd wanted to protect these demi-dragons. If they didn't appreciate his help, then he would have left without hesitation. As if sensing Yi Fei's displeasure, Long Jiao suddenly charged at that elder like an enraged tigress, baring her fangs and brandishing her claws. When you pushed me into the fire pit, I didn't see any of you speak up. Now that my brother has saved me, you're coming out to criticize him. Do you know what shame is? I believe that my brother has a reason for killing these people. Even if he doesn't have a reason, we'll bear the consequences together. As she spoke, Long Jiao hugged Yi Fei's arm even tighter. Yi Fei's expression turned even stranger, but a trace of warmth still appeared in his heart. At least his actions were meaningful. Most of the demi-dragons' elders were conservative, but most of the younger demi-dragons were hot-blooded. With Long Jiao taking the lead, most of the demi-dragons stood on Yi Fei's side. Long Xing even raised his voice and roared, "Bullshit calamity! To think that the Celestial Demon Palace dared to try to kill the young clan head in our race. If it were me, I would definitely not be able to tolerate this. I would definitely kill them. You bastards, you've rebelled, you've really rebelled. This old man won't talk to you anymore. This old man is going to find the patriarch to reason with him." The great elder was fuming with anger. He did not expect Yi Fei to gain the support of so many draconians in just one battle. At this moment, a cold voice suddenly came from behind the great elder. There's no need to search anymore. This clan leader is already here. From today onwards, you are not to question anything Yi Fei does in the Dragon Clan. His orders are my orders. Boom! Long Guang's words caused the hearts of all the elders to tremble. Even if the first elder was beaten to death, he would never have imagined that the patriarch would not even bother to ask, and would directly protect Yi Fei. He was so angry that his beard trembled, and he was about to speak. Just as he was about to speak, Long Guang's cold gaze landed on the great elder. As for you, as an elder, you didn't save your clansmen when you saw them in danger. Instead, you sold out the clan for glory. Do you really think that this clan leader doesn't know that you secretly colluded with the Celestial Demon Palace to force this clan leader into a forced marriage? What? Great Elder, you're actually a traitor. Long Xing's loud voice started roaring again. Yi Fei was speechless. It was no wonder that Qin Shi would use a honey trap on Long Xing. This fellow had no control over his mouth at all. After being exposed, the great elder's expression changed greatly. He suddenly roared and charged into the sky, trying to escape. Long Guang snorted coldly. Suddenly, a powerful dragon chi erupted from his body. He suddenly raised his hand and pointed at the great elder's death acupuncture point. The fleeing great elder's Dao mountain collapsed and his divine hall exploded. He screamed miserably as he fell from the sky, instantly becoming a cripple. Only now did Yi Fei realize how terrifying a draconic person's death acupuncture point was. It was like a snake's weak spot. Once struck, one would definitely die. Men, lock this traitor in prison. He can't be released for the rest of his life. As for the celestial demon young master, kill him. Long Guang did have some tricks up his sleeve. He didn't even ask. When he saw Yi Fei attack, he immediately started dealing with the aftermath. This showed that he had absolute trust in Yi Fei. Since Long Guang was like this, Yi Fei couldn't be too stingy. He helplessly let Long Jiaojiao drag him by the arm. He walked over to Long Guang and said, "Senior Long, the reason I attacked the Celestial Demon Palace so viciously is because the Celestial Demon Palace has already joined forces with the Kai family to harm the dragon race. As for the specifics, Senior can capture the Celestial Demon young master and interrogate him." "There's no need to interrogate him. Just search his soul." Long Guang was very decisive. Since he had already formed an enmity with the Celestial Demon Palace, he might as well capture the Celestial Demon young master and search his soul. Like this, the schemes of the Kai family and the Celestial Demon Palace were exposed. When Long Guang learned that the Kai family had already sent a daughter of the first wife to the Celestial Demon young master as his wife, they concealed this matter and deliberately had the Celestial Demon young master take Long Jiaojiao as his concubine, using his wife's family as the condition to form an alliance with the dragon race. Like this, not only would the alliance between the Celestial Demon Palace and the dragon race be null and void, but the Long family would also send Long Jiaojiao to the Celestial Demon Palace to be humiliated. This could be considered a vicious scheme. When Long Jiaojiao understood this, she almost rushed over and choked the Celestial Demon young master to death. But before she could do anything, the enraged Long Guang had already turned the Celestial Demon young master into meat paste. The faces of the elders who had supported the marriage with the Celestial Demon Palace all turned red. They were so ashamed that they wished they could find a hole to hide in. The Celestial Demon Palace is going too far. The Kai family is despicable and shameless. Yi Fei, if it weren't for you, my dragon race would have fallen into the Kai family's trap. I would have personally pushed my daughter into the fire pit and regretted it for the rest of my life. Tell me, what reward do you want this time?" After dealing with the Celestial Demon Palace, Long Guang looked at Yi Fei. Yi Fei didn't refuse. After all, cultivating the ancient god Golden Body required a lot of cultivation resources. If possible, I hope to obtain a large number of profound veins. At least 500,000 profound veins. With that many profound veins, it should be enough for him to comprehend the second law of the fourth level and break through to the midstage Tao Lord realm. Long Guang nodded straightforwardly. He immediately ordered someone to bring 500,000 profound veins to Yi Fei. Long Jiao seemed to understand something. She was very considerate and gave her room to Yi Fei to cultivate in. Yi Fei immediately felt incomparably embarrassed. He wanted to explain, but Long Guang was extremely crafty. Seeing his daughter so enthusiastic about Yi Fei, Long Guang gave him the profound veins and disappeared once more. He didn't even give him a chance to prove his innocence. Helpless, Yi Fei could only be forcefully dragged into Long Jiao's room. Then, he quietly entered seclusion and began to break through to the midstage Tao Lord realm. While Yi Fei was in seclusion, the Celestial Demon Palace also learned that the marriage alliance had failed. The wedding procession had all been killed. But strangely, the Celestial Demon Palace didn't do anything. This puzzled the dragon race's elders. The only thing Long Guang could do was order a lockdown on all news regarding Yi Fei. At the same time, he secretly brought Long Xing and Long Jiao, the two strongest geniuses of their family, into a secret room and began to teach them the Demon Emperor's scripture. This was also to make preparations for the upcoming battle in the Forbidden Zone. The Qin and Kai families also began to make preparations. Chapter 2501. The Battle of the Forbidden Grounds. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, it was the time for the Battle of the Forbidden Grounds, which happened once every 10 years. This day was the grandest occasion in the entire Godfiend city. The Dragon Clan, Long Jiao, came to her room early and knocked on the door. "Brother, are you done cultivating? Father is looking for you." For some reason, Long Guang didn't expose the rumor. Instead, he allowed Long Jiao to misunderstand. Perhaps this was Long Guang's way of hiding Yi Fei's identity. However, this action made Yi Fei suffer. For example, when he opened the door, Long Jiao was already hugging his arm. If they were siblings, it would be fine. The key was that they weren't siblings. Yi Fei felt very awkward. He explained several times, but Long Jiao didn't listen. She thought that Yi Fei had been abandoned for too long and lacked fatherly love. She even complained about Long Guang. As the younger sister, Long Jiao decided to use more love to influence Yi Fei. Yi Fei was speechless. He could only stroke Long Jiao's dragon horn and said, "Patriarch, are you looking for me because the battle of the Fiend God Forbidden Ground has begun?" "Yes." Long Jiao's face flushed red. All half-dragons had a weak point. In fact, Long Jiao's weak point was the dragon horn on her head. When touched, it was like touching her soul. It was very sensitive. Even though she cultivated the Demon Emperor scripture, her dragon horn was still sensitive. Yi Fei didn't know this. He touched it and felt that it was quite nice. He touched it a few more times. Long Jiao's face turned even redder. She felt her body go weak. She quickly let go of Yi Fei's arm and ran out like a frightened deer. "Brother, you're too bad. I'm going to tell father." Long Jiao's embarrassed and angry voice came from afar. Hearing this voice, Yi Fei's face darkened. He didn't know what was going on. Long Guang's loud dragon roar came from the sky above the Long family. "All disciples of the Dragon Clan and above, gather here. We're going to the Forbidden Grounds of Godfiend now. Our Dragon Clan has the young master this time. We'll definitely win. The dragon race will win, the young patriarch will win." Yi Fei hadn't expected Long Xing to be so eloquent and good at boosting morale as well. When they heard Long Xing's words and recalled Yi Fei's terrifying strength that could kill even divine lords, all the half-dragon Tao lords were in high spirits. Only the flood dragons who stayed behind looked at Yi Fei with unfriendly gazes. If it weren't for the fact that this young clan leader is a real human, I would have suspected that he is a dragon turtle spirit. I would have joined forces to beat those shameless dragon turtles to death. Divine Lord Jiao Long of the Dragon Chart Pavilion sighed. Behind him was a large group of flood dragons. They stared at Yi Fei with their eyes wide open. Inside the beast mark space, the dragon tortoise became extremely nervous. Even when Xiao Chao ate the magnetite, the dragon tortoise did not open its mouth. Instead, it tried its best to shrink into its tortoise shell. This surprised Xiao Chao. Not long after, a huge flying ship rose from the dragon clan. It emitted rolling dragon chi and shook the void as it flew toward the godfiend Forbidden Land. At the same time, the dragon clan moved. To the east of the celestial demon city, a flying ship of the same size swiftly rose into the air. It emanated a sword chi that was even more powerful than the dragon chi as it swiftly flew over from afar. It completely ignored the dragon tribe's flying ship and charged straight at it. Qin Shi. On the flying ship, Long Xing suddenly saw a beautiful figure. It was the woman he used to love the most, the third young mistress of the Qin clan, Qin Shi. Beside her stood Qin Yi and Qin Zhen. Hearing Long Xing's loud voice, Qin Shi's expression changed. She seemed to feel guilty, making her unable to face Long Xing beside her. Qin Yi sneered. Why? Are you feeling sorry for him? Third sister, it's not that I want to criticize you, but that Long Xing is just dog shit. Your partner should be a real hero, not a half-dragon with an incomplete bloodline. Qin Yi, who are you calling an incomplete bloodline? If you have the ability, come here and see if I don't slap you to death with my claws. Long Jiaojiao's expression was furious. An incomplete bloodline was a taboo for half-dragons. Qin Yi not only exposed their shortcomings, but also insulted them. A strong fighting spirit appeared on Long Jiaojiao's body. However, Qin Yi's gaze was full of disdain. Long Jiaojiao, don't try to show off in front of me. Thanks to that big mouth of Long Xing, if I'm not wrong, the dragon horn on your head is your weakness. What? The dragon horn is your weakness. Yi Fei looked at Long Jiaojiao with a strange expression. Then, his forehead was covered in sweat. No wonder when he touched the dragon horn. Long Jiaojiao blushed like that, and he actually... Yi Fei's expression was solemn, as if he didn't hear what he just said. Even so, Long Jiaojiao was like a tigress whose tail had been stepped on. She bared her fangs and brandished her claws at Qin Yi. Wench, since you know my weakness, do you have the guts to fight with me now? Little bitch, just you wait. In the forbidden land of gods and devils, I'll tear your face apart. Qin Yi's expression was even more ferocious. Her delicate face showed signs of twisting. Yi Fei and Long Xing both felt a chill run down their spines. Long Guang and the head of the Qin family, Qin Ming, coughed at the same time and hurriedly pulled the two women to the side. Qin Yi couldn't do anything. Suddenly, she sneered and pointed at Yi Fei. It's funny. Is there no one else in your dragon clan? You actually invited an outsider to fight for you. If this person is strong, it's fine. But he's just an early-stage Dao Lord. He's completely useless and ugly. Long Jiaojiao, your taste is really unique. I like this kind of person. At least he's better than you who attract bees and butterflies everywhere. Long Jiaojiao was furious. She forcefully pulled Yi Fei over. After all, they were just siblings. Hugging like this was a show of force. Yi Fei had the urge to vomit blood. Just as he was about to speak, Qin Ming, the head of the Qin family, suddenly snorted. Qin Yi, stop talking. We don't need to waste our breath on the weak. Long Guang, my Qin family wants to take this path. Are you going to move aside? Qin Ming directly provoked. Many of the Draconians were furious. At this moment, Long Guang was smiling. Not only did he move the flying boat aside, he also made an inviting gesture. The Qin family is arrogant. Our dragon clan is ashamed of our inferiority. Brother Qin, please. Qin Ming's gaze couldn't help but narrow. However, he saw that the Dragon Clan's flying boat didn't have any abnormalities. Yi Fei was only a mid-stage Dao Lord. Judging from Qin Yi's tone, this person was just an ordinary person who looked good but was useless. In addition, many of the Dragon Clan's experts' weak points had been secretly collected through Qin Shi's beauty trap. It was expected that the Long family wouldn't be able to do much. Chapter 2502. The first battle, one move is enough. Yi Fei nodded with a smile. Just like Long Guang, he watched Qin Zhen swagger away with a smile. Long Jiaojiao was baffled. Weren't the Dragon Clan and the Qin clan supposed to be enemies? Why did Yi Fei and her father have the same smile? Is this what it means to be a father and son? Brother still wants to deny it. Now I've caught you. Thinking of this, Long Jiaojiao ran over happily and hugged Yi Fei's arm. The smile on Yi Fei's face froze. Long Jiaojiao, call me Jiaojiao. Brother, I know you've suffered a lot outside. I'll take good care of you in the future. As she spoke, Long Jiaojiao grabbed Yi Fei's hand and placed it on her dragon horn again. She realized that although she was a little shy when Yi Fei stroked her, there was an indescribable feeling of comfort. Yi Fei's face darkened. The Dragon Race's airship wasn't too far away from the Qin family. Almost as soon as the Qin family entered the Forbidden Land, the Dragon Race's airship hurried over. Intense corpse light immediately erupted from the Forbidden Land. A large group of experts from the Kai family were already waiting there. Seeing that the Long family didn't come side by side with the Qin family, Kai Gang, the head of the Kai family, couldn't help but sneer. It seems that Qin Shi didn't lie to us. She really has grasped the weakness of the Dragon Clan. So, in this battle of the God and Devil Forbidden Lands, as long as we defeat the Qin family, we'll win. On the Qin clan's airship, Qin Ming, the head of the Qin clan, also fixed his eyes on Kai Gang. Brother Kai, now that 10 years have passed, shouldn't you withdraw your people from the forbidden land of divinity and demons? Haha, Brother Qin, Brother Long, there's no hurry to withdraw the troops. After all, the forbidden land of divinity and demons does not belong to the Kai clan. There are still many forces in the divine prefecture and demon continent that are eyeing this forbidden land covetously. Therefore, I have a suggestion for this battle. Whoever wins will not only gain control of the forbidden land of gods and devils, but the clan that loses will have to obey the orders of the victor. What do you think? Kai Gang, you're clearly swallowing us. When Long Guang heard this, his expression carried a rare coldness. Many of the elders of the Qin family had ugly expressions on their faces. At this moment, another flying ship flew over from the distant sky. It was filled with demons and there was a flag on it with the words, Demonic Palace, written in blood. Clan Head Qin, Clan Head Long, you've misunderstood. Clan Head Kai isn't trying to annex you. Instead, he's trying to ally with you to prevent this forbidden area from falling into the hands of outsiders. If you agree, then the battle will begin. If you don't, then I'm sorry, but you don't have the right to participate in this battle. Boom! More than a dozen divine monarchs jumped down from the flying boat and openly stood on the Kai family's side. As a result, the Kai clan's strength instantly increased. Kai Gang also looked at Qin Ming and Long Guang with confidence. Clan heads, please make your decision. If you can't make a decision, then there's no place for you in the forbidden land of gods and devils. Kai family, aren't you afraid that our two clans will join forces? An elder of the Qin family angrily threatened. But as soon as he said that, the elder felt awkward. In order to deal with the Long family, the Qin family didn't hesitate to let Qin Shi use her beauty to find out the weaknesses of many young experts of the Dragon Clan. Now that the Qin family and the Dragon Clan were like fire and water, why would they join forces again? Kai family, good plan. We agree to your conditions this time. Qin Ming concealed his face. Now that the Kai family was strong, the Qin family would be at a disadvantage if they met force with force. Why not start the battle first? If the Qin family won in the end, they could turn the tables and command the Kai family. This temptation was great. Kai Geng smiled and nodded. Qin Ming is indeed wise. What about you, Brother Long? Long Guang didn't say anything. He only glanced at Yi Fei subconsciously. Yi Fei was expressionless and indifferent. If it weren't for the slovenly Taoist, he wouldn't have bothered to participate in this kind of family conflict. All right, since you dare to bet, the Dragon Clan will naturally accompany you. However, the battle in the Forbidden Land must follow the previous rules. Only Tao Lords are allowed to fight. Divine Lords like us are not allowed to interfere. Long Guang gritted his teeth and decided to bet everything on Yi Fei. However, in the eyes of outsiders, this scene looked like the Dragon Clan was forced to compromise under the pressure of the Kai family, the Sky Demon Palace, and the Qin family. Kai Geng and Qin Ming both sneered. The Divine Lord of the Sky Demon Palace's eyes turned cold. All right, we'll follow the previous rules. Each clan will send 3 Tao Lords to challenge each other. The final winner will be the final winner. The Sky Demon Palace will be the judge in charge of this battle. Whoever refuses to admit defeat will be punished by the Sky Demon Palace. The Sky Demon Palace didn't just have branch palaces, it also had a main palace. Their forces were spread across both the divine and demon continent. Hearing the Sky Demon Palace use the main palace to threaten them, the Dragon Clan and the Qin family were furious. Since they couldn't give up on the forbidden land of gods and demons so easily, they could only nod with gloomy expressions. Long family, send out your people first. The Divine Lord of the Sky Demon Palace suddenly looked at Long Guang darkly. The young master of the Sky Demon Branch Palace had entered the Dragon Clan and didn't come out. Clearly, he was doomed. It wasn't that the Sky Demon Palace didn't want to take revenge. They had waited for this day to settle the score. Moreover, the 3 major clans of the Divine Demon City were very familiar with each other. Whoever sent out their people first would definitely be at a disadvantage. Realizing this, the members of the dragon race were furious. Only Yi Fei remained indifferent, as if he had nothing to do with this matter. Long Guang was also smiling. Suddenly, he turned and glanced at Yi Fei. Long Xing, you go up for the first battle. Clan leader, watch me. Long Xing was full of fighting spirit. He walked up to the void arena that had been built long ago. So it's Big Mouth Ba Long Xing. What a pity. Qin Shi, you go up. Qin Ming's eyes were cold. He had actually sent out Qin Shi. Many Dragon Clan members' faces changed. Long Jiaojiao grabbed Yi Fei's arm tightly and said, "This is bad." Long Xing is a straightforward person. Although Qin Shi lied to him, it's hard for him to do anything to Qin Shi. I'm afraid that we might lose the first battle. The Dragon Clan wasn't the only one who had such thoughts. The Qin family members who knew Long Xing's character were secretly excited. Some even cheered for Qin Shi, hoping that Qin Shi could kill Long Xing in one move. A large number of martial artists had gathered around the forbidden land of gods and demons. These martial artists either came alone or in groups of 3 to 5. These were all small forces of the Divine Demon City. Every battle of the forbidden land of gods and demons was a great reshuffling of power in the Divine Demon City. Therefore, these small forces had to pay attention to it at all times. When they saw that the Dragon Clan had actually sent out Long Xing, whose weakness had been exposed, these small forces secretly shook their heads. They felt that the Dragon Clan had most likely given up on fighting for the forbidden land of gods and demons. Many forces that were on good terms with the Dragon Clan were already considering whether to change their allegiance and rely on the Kai family or the Qin family after this battle. Kai Bao, I'm here to ask for advice. Both of you, come at me together. Dong. Chapter 2503. The Dragon Clan's Eruption, Kill. Just as Long Jiaojiao expected, Kai Bao rushed onto the stage. Without saying a word, he sent a punch at Long Xing and Qin Shi. But at the critical moment, Long Xing suddenly pushed Qin Shi to the edge of the stage, allowing Qin Shi to be far away from danger. Qin Shi's expression was filled with complicated emotions. Kai Bao was also somewhat surprised. Long Xing, you're really infatuated. Forget it. Since you've been cheated so pitifully, I'll let you be free as soon as possible. Massacre Chain Palm. Kai Bao's body and mind were like a leopard as he suddenly approached Long Xing. His two palms carried a corrosive will as they continuously bombarded Long Xing's ribs. That was Long Xing's Achilles heel. Originally, only Qin Shi knew about it. But Qin Shi had not only revealed this secret to the Qin family, but also to the Kai family. At this moment, Kai Bao wanted to take advantage of this weakness. His two palms continued to bombard Long Xing's ribs. But what shocked Kai Bao was that even though he had clearly attacked Long Xing's Achilles heel, Long Xing didn't die. He only spat out a mouthful of blood. A loud dragon roar had already transformed into an even more berserk Dragon Man fist that continuously smashed into Kai Bao's face and body. Kai Bao was beaten senseless. He screamed miserably as he was sent flying out of the arena. This shocked countless martial artists. Long Xing raised his eyebrows and let out a loud roar as he was about to turn around. Silently, a sword light attacked from behind. It was actually Qin Shi, who had been protected before. She took the opportunity to swing her sword and stab at Long Xing's ribs again. Don't blame me. I'm only doing this for the family. For the family? Once upon a time, I loved you so much. For you, I would do anything. But you personally destroyed my love for you. Roar. An even more terrifying dragon roar came from Long Xing's mouth. At the same time, a powerful demonic aura appeared on his body as he ruthlessly struck Qin Shi's chest. Qin Shi's face was filled with disbelief. She spat out a mouthful of blood and fell out of the arena. But at the same time, Qin Shi used her own sword to heavily injure Long Xing. She even pushed Long Xing out of the arena. There was actually no victor in this battle. In other words, the final victor was unexpectedly Long Xing. What was even more frightening was that Long Xing had clearly been stabbed in his Achilles heel, but he did not die and was only injured. Long Xing, you actually lied to me. After falling out of the arena, Qin Shi stared at Long Xing with a venomous look in her eyes. At this moment, Long Xing didn't even spare her a glance. He dragged his injured body back to Long Guang and knelt down. Clan leader, I was wrong. Tears of regret rolled down Long Xing's face. Long Xing, get up. It's not scary to be wrong. What's scary is to lose the courage to face your mistakes. You didn't disappoint me. On the contrary, you did very well this time. Long Guang's expression was solemn as he helped Long Xing up. Yi Fei also nodded secretly. After cultivating the Demon Emperor scripture, the demi-dragon could indeed make up for the flaws in their bloodline. Unfortunately, the Demon Emperor scripture had no effect on his earthly sovereign bloodline. It seems like I still have to fight to enter the earthly sovereign realm. Yi Fei was absent-minded. At the same time, he habitually stroked Long Jiaojiao's pink dragon horns, causing the latter to blush. However, she was too embarrassed to reject the rare intimacy of her elder brother. The result of this battle greatly exceeded the expectations of the demonic palace and the Kai family. The demonic palace's Sir God in charge of the referee looked at the Dragon Clan with evil intentions again. There's no winner in the first round. According to the rules, the Dragon Clan may still need to fight in the second round. The demonic palace is too much. This is clearly favoritism. Many elders of the Dragon Clan could not help but roar. The demonic palace's Sir God's expression immediately turned cold. In the world of warriors, the strong are respected. If you are not strong, then shut up and fight honestly. Otherwise, scram. Brother Long, if your Dragon Clan is afraid, you can take the initiative to admit defeat. Don't worry, my Kai family will not make things difficult for you. Kai Gang persuaded, seemingly with good intentions. Hearing this, the smile on Long Guang's face completely froze. He glanced at Yi Fei and was about to give the order. Suddenly, Long Jiaojiao, who was beside him, dodged Yi Fei's evil palm with a red face and said, "Brother, I'll go up first and help you scout the way." After saying that, she jumped up the stage like a frightened rabbit. She was afraid that if Yi Fei touched her again, her body would go soft and she would not have the strength to fight. Yi Fei was baffled. Seeing that Long Jiaojiao from the Dragon Clan was the one who went up, Qin Yi, who was in the Qin family's team, sneered and suddenly rushed up the stage. Before the Kai family's people went up, the two women had already started cursing at each other. "Little bitch Long Jiaojiao, what did you say to me on the airship just now? See if I don't tear your mouth apart today. If you want to fight, then let's fight. I've been annoyed by you since a long time ago." With just a few words, the two of them started fighting. The intensity of the battle made Yi Fei dumbstruck. The Qin families and Dragon Clan's cultivators were crazily cheering and cheering. This also angered the Kai family's cultivator who went up the stage. It was a black-robed cultivator. His body was like a ghost as he suddenly charged into the battle. At the same time, he sent out two palms at Long Jiaojiao and Qin Yi. This person was actually like Kai Bao. He wanted to defeat Long Jiaojiao and Qin Yi at the same time. The spectating cultivators were in an uproar. Seeing that ghost-like figure, Yi Fei suddenly felt uneasy. He could not help but shout, "Jiaojiao, come back quickly!" Too late. Boom! The howling baleful corpse Qi violently exploded and imprinted itself on the two women's bodies. Qin Yi was already screaming miserably as she was blasted out of the stage. Long Jiaojiao was also blasted out of the stage. However, she was not blasted out of the stage. Instead, one of her dragon horns was pressed down by the black-robed cultivator's ghost-like figure. Just when everyone thought that Long Jiaojiao's Achilles heel would be hit and she would die. Suddenly, a terrifying demonic dragon aura burst out from Long Jiaojiao's body. She turned into a demonic wind and avoided the ghost-like figure. Then, she quickly escaped from the stage. The ghost-like figure's eyes suddenly froze. Seeing this scene, the Qin family's patriarch's face became incomparably ugly. He suddenly shouted at Qin Shi, "What's going on? You hit their Achilles heel twice in a row. Why are Long Xing and Long Jiaojiao still alive?" Patriarch Qin Shi was also dumbfounded. During the time she spent with Long Xing, she was clearly infatuated with him. Long Xing had told her almost everything he knew. But now, she realized that all the Dragon Clan's weaknesses that she knew seemed to be all wrong. Thinking of this, Qin Shi's gaze towards Long Xing was suddenly filled with intense hatred and resentment. "Long Xing, you are ruthless. It turns out that all the things you said were all lies." She had spent so much time with Long Xing. In order to obtain information, she had almost given herself to him. At this moment, Qin Shi's gentle face was distorted with anger. Chapter 2504. Why would I need a sword to slay you? Qin Shi's complexion turned even paler. The Qin family's family head was so angry that his face turned green. Sending Qin Shi to seduce Long Xing was the honey trap he was most proud of. In the end, not only did Long Xing not fall for it, he even used Qin Shi to provide false information? To think that Long Xing's big mouth was actually an act. This person is really insidious. But Qin Shi actually fell for it so easily. Looks like the gap between this girl and Ming'er is very huge. The Kai family's family head, Kai Gang, said to a youth in luxurious clothes with an aloof expression beside him. This youth was Kai Ming, the Kai family's strongest genius. Hearing Kai Gang mention Qin Shi, the aloof expression on Kai Ming's face did not change in the slightest. To Kai Ming, Qin she was merely his plaything. The companion he was looking for was those figures on the divine continent's Earth Carnage proclamation, such as Bai Yanran, such as Zhao Yu. That was the goal he should pursue. Divine Devil City is still too small. Family Head, after this Forbidden Land battle ends, I will personally enter the divine continent and challenge those Earth Carnage proclamation experts. I want to pull them down one by one. Kai Ming said proudly. Kai Gang also nodded in satisfaction and said, Sure. You are already invincible in Divine Devil City. It's time to gain experience and obtain greater achievements. This family head is waiting for you to become the Kai family's first Renzu. Now, Ming-er, you go up and win this battle. Also let the demonic palace's divine lords see the glory of my Kai family's prodigy. Yes. Kai Ming bowed and directly stepped into the air, walking up the void platform step by step. For the third battle, the Kai family sent out their strongest genius, Kai Ming. When they saw Kai Ming appear, the Kai family's martial artists all let out a victory cheer. On the other hand, many of the martial artists from the Qin family and the Dragon tribe had ugly looks on their faces. Kai Ming was an invincible legend in the Divine Demon City. Now that Kai Ming had joined the battle, there was no suspense in this battle. The Kai family controlling the Divine Devil Forbidden Land was already set in stone. What was even more difficult for the Qin and Long families to accept was that, if they were defeated, not only would they lose the Fiend God Forbidden Land, but they would also be forced to obey the Kai family for the next 10 years. What was the difference between that and being annexed? At this moment, the Qin clan's clan head was already regretting having she use her beauty against the Dragon clan. Not only had she failed, but she had also become mortal enemies with the Dragon clan. In the face of danger, there was no possibility of them joining hands. Kai Ming, come and fight me. Who from the Qin and Long families dares to fight? Kai Ming's arrogant voice rang out from the void arena. This voice caused the Qin family elder's expression to turn ugly. Patriarch, what should we do? Please think of something. What else can we do? The clan lord said, looking at Long Guang with bloodshot eyes. The Kai clan has already won one round. We can't let Kai Ming win this round. Long Guang, if the Qin clan were to lower its head to you, would you be willing to set aside your grudges and join forces with me? Long Guang hesitated and looked at Yi Fei. Yi Fei shook his head indifferently. He had only come for the earthly sovereign heavens. He couldn't be bothered to get involved in the Dragon clan's matters. Clan Lord Long, there's no need to hesitate. How about this? Your Qin clan and Dragon clan can come at me together. If I lose, I'll give up the Fiend God Forbidden Land. I don't have the time to waste on a bunch of trash. Kai Ming's arrogant voice rang out from the void arena once more, causing an uproar among the martial artists. Kai Ming actually wanted to fight the Dragon clan and the Qin clan alone, two great experts. At the same time, if Kai Ming lost, the entire Kai clan would lose. What was even stranger was that the Kai clan's clan head didn't refute this. This wasn't just Kai Ming's confidence, but the confidence of the entire Kai clan. The Kai clan is looking down on us. Because no one from the Dragon clan or the Qin clan is a match for Kai Ming, even if they join forces. Many martial artists from smaller factions had complicated feelings. As for the Qin clan and Dragon clan martial artists, they all revealed looks of humiliation and anger. Yi Fei, what do you think? Long Guang didn't dare to make a decision on his own. Instead, he looked at Yi Fei. Yi Fei didn't say anything. He just lifted his foot and walked towards the void arena. He had to go to the earthly sovereign heavens. This meant that he had to defeat this arrogant Kai Ming. Therefore, when he walked onto the void arena, he attracted the attention of many martial artists from the Kai clan. Who is this person? He doesn't seem to be a half-dragon. I know. He should be the foreign aide that the Dragon clan invited. It's laughable. It's said that when this person first entered the Fiend God City, He had a conflict with Qin Yi and Qin Zhen of the Qin clan. Long Xing's weakness was exposed, but he refused to submit. As for this person, he hid at the side and humiliated him without saying a word. A martial artist from the Kai clan mocked. Clearly, they had investigated the matter between the Qin clan and the Dragon clan very carefully. Even an outsider like Yi Fei had investigated it thoroughly. Hearing this, a trace of contempt flashed through Kai Ming's arrogant expression. It seems that the Long clan really has no one else to send. They actually sent a nameless person like you. How disappointing. Now that the Long clan has confirmed their choice, who will the Qin clan send? I'll do it. Inside the Qin clan, a figure rushed onto the void arena. It was Qin Zhen. At this moment, he was staring at Yi Fei with a mocking expression. Do you remember what I said? If you dare to enter the void arena, I can kill you in one move. You are not qualified to stand in this void arena. He is not qualified. Qin Zhen, you are not qualified either. Both of you get lost. I don't want to fight against two trash who can't even join forces. Kai Ming was disappointed. He had thought that he could find some fun in the battle. In the end, it was difficult to even find a decent opponent. Sure enough, the Fiend God City was still too small. Kai Ming was as lonely as snow, but his voice was cold. In 3 breaths, all of you get lost. Trash like you are not qualified to appear in front of me. Trash. It had to be said that Kai Ming was not an ordinary arrogant person. Yi Fei could not remember how long it had been since someone had dared to call him trash. Kai Ming was obviously angry. It made him angry. Qin Zhen, who had also been humiliated, had a distorted expression. Unfortunately, Kai Ming was too strong. He was so strong that Qin Zhen did not even have the courage to get angry. He could only hold back his anger and vent his anger on Yi Fei. There is no need for 3 breaths. In 1 breath, I will kill you. Kill. Qin Zhen moved. His body turned into countless phantoms and rushed towards Yi Fei. This was his will of mystique, phantom. It could transform into countless phantoms, making it impossible for the enemy to guard against. At the same time, an intense purple saber light appeared in Qin Zhen's phantoms, which directly tore the world apart. Moreover, the saber light used by the phantoms was different. In other words, Qin Zhen consecutively released hundreds of different saber mystiques in a breath's time. Then, these mystiques fused together and attacked Yi Fei together. Not good. That is the Qin clan's strongest 1000 illusion saber technique. Below the void arena, Long Jiaojiao reminded loudly. She did not know why, but she was very worried about Yi Fei. Even though she knew that Yi Fei's combat strength was only more terrifying than Qin Zhen's. Boom! Almost at the same time that Long Jiaojiao reminded Yi Fei, the saber lights that filled the sky were suddenly shattered by a destructive divine light. Yi Fei's figure also passed through the layers of saber lights and walked towards Qin Zhen. Qin Zhen immediately widened his eyes in shock. He wanted to use his saber, but he realized that his forehead had been instantly pierced by the terrifying destructive divine light. In front of his shattered soul, Yi Fei's voice sounded. Chapter 2505. Bloodline Suppression. Qin Zhen was unable to force Yi Fei to use his sword. His mountain of Tao was destroyed and his divine soul was crushed by half a move. This scene deeply shocked everyone's hearts. The Qin family patriarch roared in grief. Killing was not prohibited in the Battle of the Forbidden Area. Previously, it was Qin Zhen who had said that he would kill Yi Fei in 1 move. However, the reality was that Yi Fei had killed Qin Zhen in half a move. No matter how angry the Qin family patriarch was, he could only endure the heartache. Qin Yi, you were the one who said that this person was insignificant. However, he killed Qin Zhen in half a move. Qin Ming's gaze could devour a person. With Qin Zhen's defeat, The Qin family was eliminated in advance and lost the qualification to compete for the forbidden land of gods and demons. Qin Yi, who was berated, was also extremely pale. She could not believe that the cowardly martial artist, who stood behind Long Xing outside the Divine Devil City without saying a word, had such terrifying combat strength. Killing Qin Zhen in half a move? Kai Ming's closed eyes suddenly opened again. He stared at Yi Fei as if he had found a strong prey. His expression was filled with intense excitement and endless fighting spirit. I finally met a decent opponent in the Divine Devil City. I take back what I said just now. You are slightly stronger than that trash Qin Zhen, Kai Ming said proudly. Even if Yi Fei had killed Qin Zhen, in his eyes, Yi Fei was only a worthy opponent and not a strong opponent. Yi Fei could not help but laugh. He had seen many arrogant people, but it was the first time Yi Fei had met someone like Kai Ming who was arrogant to the point of looking down on everyone. Just based on your words, I will crush your arrogance. Dong. Yi Fei still did not draw his sword. His entire person was like an unsheathed sharp sword. The whistling sword chi spread out with his footsteps like ripples. The entire void platform seemed to be unable to withstand it and started to shake violently. Kai Ming's expression suddenly became a lot more serious. He could actually faintly feel an invisible pressure from Yi Fei's footstep. In the past, he was the only one who could bring this kind of pressure to others. Now it was coming from him. How could someone as arrogant as Kai Ming tolerate this? Kill. Violent dark force suddenly exploded from Kai Ming's body like a warhammer. Then, Kai Ming actually held the warhammer and smashed it forward, causing the void to shatter and terrifying cracks to appear in the arena. This was the power of Kai Ming's bloodline, the warhammer bloodline. He could condense a warhammer to attack and kill his opponent. At the same time, a terrifying will emerged from Kai Ming's body. That was the will of strength. Together with the tyrannical power of the warhammer, he could unleash the power of his bloodline to the maximum. Half a move and you will die, Kai Ming said arrogantly. Just now, Yi Fei had only used half a move to kill Qin Zhen. It was shocking. Now, Kai Ming wanted to kill Yi Fei with only half a move? These words were like a raging fire. Many martial artists felt their blood boil. The martial artists of the Kai family cheered excitedly. It was as if they could already see Kai Ming's victory. The martial artists of the Dragon Tribe were all shocked. After all, the one who had attacked this time was Kai Ming, the strongest youth in the Divine Devil City. Although Yi Fei was strong, could he suppress Kai Ming's brilliance? Die, he must die. Qin Yi and Qin Shi's faces were distorted. They were both beautiful, but their faces were a little ferocious at this moment. Boom! Boom! The sword light was shocking. It did not come from the sword, but from under Yi Fei's feet. The undying sword's soul was like a burning star. It shone brightly and appeared behind Yi Fei. The will of the blood battle was like the scorching sun. It emitted an intense light and heat. In the end, Yi Fei's sword light collided with Kai Ming's warhammer. The indestructible sword of destruction actually blocked Kai Ming's warhammer light that was sure to kill. You want to kill me with only half a move? You are not worthy of saying such words. Get lost. Boom. The whistling sword light turned into a destructive torrent. It flowed and slashed forward. Kai Ming's arrogant expression became extremely serious for the first time. There was also deep shame and anger. Just now, he had said that he would kill Yi Fei with half a move. Not only did he fail, but his magic was also firmly suppressed by Yi Fei. This was something Kai Ming had never experienced in the Divine Devil City. Today I will kill you. Chaotic hammer cloak. Kai Ming roared. His bloodline suddenly burned completely, forming an even more terrifying shadow of a warhammer. He grasped it in his hand and wanted to hammer Yi Fei to death. You want to compete with me in terms of bloodline? Fine, I will fulfill your wish. I will defeat you with half a move. Yi Fei took a step forward. His body also burned with terrifying bloodline divine flames. Moreover, his divine flames were stronger and more intense than Kai Ming's. Kai Ming had a 9th grade Warhammer bloodline, while Yi Fei had a 10th grade Earthly Emperor bloodline. The difference in bloodline was the difference in combat strength. Kai Ming burned his bloodline and increased the power of his Warhammer to the level of a Sir God's attack. However, Yi Fei's Earthly Emperor bloodline would only be more intense and stronger. In particular, Yi Fei had also mastered the demented battle technique. This battle technique could make him enter a demented state and increase his combat strength by several times. In other words, it was equivalent to the power of 2 Sir God's attacks. Boom! When the light of the deity Tribulation Blood sword tore through the void, the entire void arena could not withstand the terrifying sword power and was torn apart. Kai Ming's 9th grade Warhammer also exploded. This is impossible. Kai Ming stood in the void and stared at the jade pendant on his chest. That was the corpse jade pendant that he had painstakingly refined in the fiend god Forbidden Land. Just now, it was this jade pendant that had blocked Yi Fei's final sword light attack. Otherwise, he, Kai Ming, would be a dead man now. Half a move is enough to defeat you. Yi Fei stood with his hands behind his back. He did not feel the joy of defeating Kai Ming. He had once clashed with the strongest geniuses of the Divine Prefecture on the Earth Carnage list. Compared to these geniuses, Kai Ming's arrogance was like a frog at the bottom of a well. Yi Fei found it funny. In this world, there are too many people who are stronger than us. If you're arrogant and conceited just because you've conquered a divine devil city, then you'll never know what a true expert is. Now, do you still want to compete? Yi Fei lifted his foot and stepped forward again. Although he was not interested in the family battle in Divine Devil City, since he had promised Long Guang, then he must win this battle on behalf of the Dragon Tribe. Facing Yi Fei's strength, Kai Ming wanted to fight. However, when he thought of the terrifying sword attack just now, he could not help but feel a deep fear in his heart. In the end, this fear mercilessly shattered his arrogance and conceit. You won, Kai Ming said with difficulty. Between life and death, in the end, he wisely chose to admit defeat. After taking a deep look at Yi Fei, Kai Ming retreated with injuries and walked down from the void. At this moment, there was only one person standing on the broken arena. That person was Yi Fei. Chapter 2506. Demonic Palace makes a move. Kai family and Qin family, who would dare to fight? The surging sound waves turned into the sound of swords, shaking the hearts of the crowd. Kai family's cheers stopped abruptly. Qin Yi and Qin Shi's delicate faces were filled with terror. Kai Ming was the top youth expert in Divine Devil City. He had never been defeated since his rise. Therefore, Kai family had said that if Kai Ming entered Divine Prefecture, he would definitely take first place on the Earth Carnage list. This was Kai Ming's confidence, and also the confidence of the entire Kai family. Now, this confidence was ruthlessly shattered by someone. The surroundings were silent, and only the heavy breathing of the Kai family head could be heard. This doesn't count. This battle is an internal battle of Divine Devil City. Long family, you have already broken the rules by inviting outsiders to participate in this battle. Kai Gang **T. Why didn't I hear you say that you were breaking the rules when you threatened to order us around? Now that my Long clan has won, could it be that you can't afford to lose? Besides, we all know about Kai Ming's arrogant words. If he loses, then the Kai clan will lose. Are you going to break your promise in front of all the cultivators in the city? Long Guang was furious, letting out a deafening dragon roar. This sound was clearly heard by the crowd, causing many forces to exclaim in unison. Who would have thought that Kai Ming, who was favored the most, would lose? Yi Fei, who was least favored, had won the final victory. Demonic Palace, announce it. The winner of this Forbidden Land battle is my Long family. From now on, the Kai family and Qin family's people are to withdraw immediately. For the next 10 years, they are not allowed to take a single step into the Forbidden Land. Long Guang continued to press his advantage. The half-dragon people of the Dragon Clan were elated, letting out cheers of victory. Long Xing's loud voice was even louder than the sky. Kai Gang and Qin Ming's faces were incomparably ugly. They wanted to go back on their words, but there were too many spectators. If they acted shamelessly now, the reputation of the Qin and Kai families would be ruined. Withdraw. In the end, Qin family head Qin Ming took the lead and prepared to withdraw. The Qin family did not dare to renege in front of the entire city. However, it was impossible for Long Guang to order the Qin family around like this. Due to Yi Fei's strength, Qin Ming's heart was filled with a strong killing intent. The Qin family's martial artists had already begun to retreat subconsciously. Many factions in Godfiend City were also looking at the demonic palace's Sir God, waiting for him to announce the results of the battle. However, the divine lords of the demonic palace did not announce it. One of them even sneered and mocked Long Guang. "The battle is not over yet. Long Guang, aren't you being too impatient? The Qin clan has already been eliminated, Kai Ming has also been defeated. The battle has already ended. This is something everyone has personally witnessed. Does the Sky Demon Hall really wish to distort the truth and become enemies with my dragon race?" Long Guang unleashed his draconic might. The Sky Demon Hall was so biased, he could no longer endure it. Many forces in the Divine Demon City shook their heads as they felt that the Heavenly Demon Palace was being unfair. In response, the Divine Lords of the Heavenly Demon Palace smiled strangely. "Wei Huang, come here. Let everyone see your true colors." In the Kai family's group, the black-robed man who had defeated Qin Yi and Long Jiaojiao suddenly walked in front of the Demonic Palace's group and took off his black robe in front of everyone, revealing his true appearance. This caused an uproar among the Kai family's martial practitioners. Wei Huang was actually not a martial practitioner from the Kai family, but a demon from the Demonic Palace. The divine lords of the Demonic Palace also smirked coldly. "Everyone, you have seen it. Although the Kai family has been defeated, the Demonic Palace has not been defeated yet. Apart from the Kai family, the Demonic Palace will also participate in the Battle of the Forbidden Grounds." These words caused an uproar among the martial practitioners in the Divine Demon City. Originally, the Demonic Palace was only an external force and could not directly participate in the Battle of the Forbidden Lands. They could only observe as a referee. However, this time, the Kai family had joined forces with the Demonic Palace to put on a show, allowing the Demonic Palace to be qualified to participate in the Battle of the Forbidden Lands. Long Guang was completely enraged. "Kai family, how dare you break the rules of the Divine Demon City? Humph, rules are dead, but humans are alive. Moreover, the Demonic Palace is not participating in the Battle of the Demonic Palace, but the demon ancestor from the main palace. He personally ordered us to participate in the Battle of the Forbidden Lands. Long Guang, do you dare to be enemies with the Demonic Palace main palace?" The divine lords of the Demonic Palace sneered. These words caused another uproar in the Divine Demon City. Renzu had also set his eyes on the forbidden lands of the divine demons. This time, it was the main palace. The Divine Demon City and the Demonic Palace main palace were not on the same level. No wonder the Kai family is so confident in the Battle of the Forbidden Lands. It turns out that they have sucked up to Renzu from the Demonic Palace main palace. The Qin family head was shocked and jealous. He felt an inexplicable sense of satisfaction. Since the Qin family had been eliminated, the Dragon tribe, who had originally won, seemed to have become the biggest loser. The Kai family head looked at Long Guang with a mocking expression. "Long Guang, now you understand that the one who wants to change the rules is not the Kai family, but the demonic palace main palace. You can fight the Kai family, but do you dare to fight the demonic palace main palace? Kai Gang's words were vicious. Although the dragon tribe was strong, they did not have Renzu. They could fight against the demonic branch palace, but fighting against the main palace, which had Renzu in it, was like throwing an egg against a rock. They were digging their own grave. However, Long Guang was extremely unwilling to give up and admit defeat. Just as he was in a dilemma, Yi Fei's cold voice suddenly sounded from the arena. Demonic palace, get up here and fight. Boom. Boundless sword light covered the sky. Yi Fei stood in the middle of the sword light and stared coldly at the black-robed man. You were the one who injured Long Jiao just now. You can either apologize or come up here and fight. How dare you? You are just a lowly human. Wei Huang's expression was unsightly. The demonic person's nature was cruel and ruthless. Yi Fei's provocation had thoroughly infuriated him. He had only seen Yi Fei defeat Kai Ming in half a move. At this moment, Wei Huang was so angry that his face was ashen. He did not dare to step onto the shattered arena. The divine lords of the demonic palace were also shocked. Brat, don't be so arrogant. Kai Ming is talented, but unfortunately, he is a frog at the bottom of a well. Now, I will show you how invincible a true Tao Lord of the demonic palace is. Young master, please. The divine lords of the demonic palace suddenly let out a strange demonic sound. Clearly, the true winner of this battle was not the Kai family or the Long family, but the demonic palace. A howl came from within the forbidden land of gods and demons. It was a violent man shrouded in corpse aura. He was holding 2 corpse demons in his hands. When Kai Ming saw the 2 corpse demons, his eyes suddenly flashed with intense shock. It's actually the 2 strongest corpse demon kings. Even divine lords were killed by them several times, but they managed to escape. Now, they actually died at the hands of the celestial demon young master? The Kai family warriors exclaimed. Long Xing snorted loudly. Humph, there are more young masters of the demons than dogs. However, no matter how strong this person is, he is no match for the young master. The young master will win. Boom! Chapter 2507. The change of man and godman Shin used to be the earth venerable of the man-god palace and one of the 3 great commanders of the human race. Together with the human emperors and heavenly gods, he resisted the sorcerers and the suppression of Dark Lord. Later, with Xiao Chao's help, Man Shin and heavenly gods broke through the barrier of the heaven realm and entered the heaven realm. Among them, heavenly gods were in dire straits and became the coachmen of the Nalan family. Man Shin's situation seemed to be much better than heavenly gods. He actually became the young master of the celestial demon clan. Compared to the earth realm, Man Shin, who entered the heaven realm, had a violent divine body that was even more terrifying. What was even more terrifying was that for some reason, Man Shin's body was also modified and he became a demon. His personality had also become violent. However, hearing Long Xing's careless taunt, the man deity's violent eyes were already emitting divine light, as if wanting to pierce through Long Xing's body. Long Xing turned pale with fright, and was about to activate the Demon Emperor's scripture to resist. In the arena, Yi Fei's expression changed. He said in a low voice, "Second brother Man Shin, how have you been? Long Xing is my friend. If he has offended you, please forgive him." In the air, Yi Fei cupped his hands slightly. Man Shin, who was about to pounce on Long Xing, trembled and suddenly stared at Yi Fei like a hungry wolf. "You're Yi Fei. You're still alive." Third brother, Man Shin was inexplicably excited. He suddenly rushed to the arena and hugged Yi Fei excitedly. The patriarch of the Kai family's expression changed. This young master of the celestial demon clan was friends with Yi Fei. Then wouldn't the cooperation between the Kai family and the celestial demon palace be changed? Kai Gang immediately looked at the divine lords of the celestial demon palace worriedly. However, he saw that they were all looking at the arena with cold smiles, as if they were looking forward to something fun. Yi Fei quickly sensed that the man-deity's berserk aura hadn't diminished in the slightest. On the contrary, it was rapidly increasing. At the same time, the man-deity's berserk divine body began to burn. Like a mad god, he viciously swung his palms at Yi Fei's back. If these palms hit, even a powerful Tao Lord would be severely injured and captured alive. No, you aren't a man-god. Your aura hasn't changed, but your soul has. However, the moment he was ambushed, a hint of sadness flashed across Yi Fei's face. His golden body of the ancient god was activated, and his body suddenly became as indestructible as an ancient god's. Not only did the deity's palm strike fail to injure Yi Fei, it even caused his arm to be lifted up into the air by an enraged iron palm. Speak. Who are you? What did you do to Ren Shen? Hee, who am I? I am the celestial demon young master. As for the man-god you speak of, he's already dead. It's just that I've taken over his body. Now I'm the new man-god. Divine body, go berserk! Boom! As the man-god roared, Yi Fei was momentarily dazed. His palms were actually shaken off by the man-god. At the same time, a terrifying demonic light slammed down on Yi Fei's body repeatedly, shattering the stars and shattering the starry sky. However, Yi Fei didn't seem to feel anything. His mind was still filled with the scenes of the battle of wits and courage with the man-god in the earth domain. That kind of human tribe leader, that kind of human tribe earthly venerate, didn't die in the earth domain, but in the heaven domain? Yi Fei couldn't help but feel a little sad. However, he was more worried about the sky god and the man-god. Their circumstances were so miserable after entering the heaven domain. In that case, what kind of fate would the former demon emperor and Shangluo encounter after entering the heaven domain? There was also Wang Bai, who rode a donkey but shared a body with the man-god. The more he thought about it, the more worried he became. In an instant, Yi Fei was so distracted that he almost forgot that the man-god was still crazily attacking his vital point. However, the defense of the ancient god golden body was really too terrifying. No matter how the man-god attacked, even after activating the berserk divine body, he still couldn't break through Yi Fei's defense. This is impossible. Who exactly are you? In his memories, you weren't that strong. The man-god suddenly let out a sharp demonic roar. When he heard this, Yi Fei's soul felt a piercing pain. At the same time, he finally came to his senses. His body had been attacked at least 100 times, and the glow of the ancient god golden body had dimmed significantly. However, when he thought about the man-god's fate, Yi Fei's heart was still filled with rage. Who am I? I'm your father. Screw you, bastard. Even if you've taken over the man-god's body, I'll still grab your soul and smash it to smithereens. Boom! Even more intense purple gold flames burned on Yi Fei's body. He punched out furiously. Under the stimulation of the berserk demon battle technique, Yi Fei could only be crazier than the man-god in front of him. The ancient god's fist smashed out, and the world was smashed to smithereens by this furious punch. The man-god in front of him couldn't withstand the divine power contained in the ancient god golden body. He spat out blood and screamed as he fled into the distance. Kill! However, Yi Fei wasn't willing to let the celestial fiend young master off. A loud sword hum came from his mouth. The light of the deity tribulation blood sword was like a blood-red waterfall, shattering the void and shattering the man-god's soul. This scene deeply shocked the hearts of everyone in Godfiend City. The two patriarchs, Kai Gang and Qin Ming, had their mouths agape. What had they just seen? The celestial fiend young master was able to kill the corpse demon king, so his combat strength was even more explosive than Kai Ming's. However, even after attacking with his full strength over 100 times, he still couldn't break through Yi Fei's protective golden body. What was even more terrifying was that the moment Yi Fei woke up, he had already completely suppressed the celestial fiend young master and was about to kill him mercilessly. This combat strength was no longer at the level of a Tao Lord, but at the level of a divine lord. Faced with Yi Fei's crazed murderous gaze, the celestial fiend young master, who had taken over the man-god's body, finally let out a terrified roar. "Elder, kill him! Celestial fiend disintegration, fulgurating shadows!" With a swoosh, the man-god's terrified face disappeared from his sight and strangely appeared in the distant celestial fiend palace team. At the same time, a divine lord elder of celestial fiend palace instantly appeared in front of Yi Fei. With a furious roar, a terrifying demonic fist that contained the terrifying profound strength of a divine lord ruthlessly shattered the light of the deity tribulation blood sword and smashed towards Yi Fei's body. Under the powerful attack of a divine lord, the ancient god's golden body shattered. At this moment, a soul cauldron was smashed out by Yi Fei in a rage, causing the divine lord's head to explode and his divine soul to perish. "You are not worthy to kill me. I said that I would take his life, so I will definitely do it. Divine Ghost Cauldron, kill him for me." Yi Fei went completely berserk. He no longer suppressed his strength, and instead charged towards the many divine lords of Celestial Fiend Palace in his strongest state. This scene caused Kai Ming's eyes to flash with incomparable horror. Even someone as arrogant as him didn't dare to do something as crazy as Yi Fei. Chapter 2508. Hot blood still burning. This was also the negligence of the Qin and Kai families. Even though they had received news from the Divine Lands and even knew the specific name list of the Earth Carnage Roll, due to the suppression of the Crimson Moon God dynasty, they only knew of Yi Fei's name but did not obtain a specific portrait of Yi Fei. In addition to Long Xing's incessant bragging, even the Qin and Kai families, including the demonic palace, had faintly treated Yi Fei as the illegitimate son of the Dragon Clan's patriarch. From there, they concluded that Yi Fei was Long Fei and that it was an unintentional coincidence that he had the same name as the first person on the Earth Carnage Roll. It was only when Yi Fei took out that iconic ghost deity cauldron and instantly smashed a divine lord to death that everyone was shocked to discover that this Yi Fei was actually that Yi Fei. Kai Ming's eyes widened in shock. What? He is Yi Fei, that demon Lord Yi, who is first on the Earth Carnage Roll. No wonder he is so strong. No wonder he defeated me in half a move. It is not that I am too weak, but that he is too strong. Yi Fei, that young demon king who is comparable to the wind and clouds. He actually escaped from the Divine Lands under the pursuit of the ancient emperor and even came to the Divine Devil City. The demonic palace's martial artists were extremely shocked. Long Xing's mouth was agape. He did not expect that Yi Fei would actually become friends with the first person on the Earth Carnage Roll. Long Jiao was also dumbstruck. She did not dare to believe everything that was happening before her eyes. Qin family, Kai family, what are you waiting for? Kill him. He is a wanted criminal of the Crimson Moon God dynasty. Capture him and you will obtain the God dynasty's treasure. In the void, all the demonic palace's divine lords rushed up and quickly surrounded Yi Fei. The death of a divine lord did not scare them. The deity's eyes flickered with a strange cold light after learning of Yi Fei's identity. Capture him alive. I can feel that his bloodline is even stronger than this deity's. If I can take over his body, I will definitely become the new first on the Earth Carnage Roll. Boom. The head of the Kai family was immediately tempted. Although Yi Fei's ghost deity cauldron was strong, it could not smash all the divine lords to death. On the contrary, if they could capture Yi Fei and interrogate him about the ancient god's opportunity, the Kai family might be able to give birth to the real Renzu. Qin family, follow me. The Qin family's patriarch followed closely behind. His goal was not Yi Fei's ancient god opportunity, but the terrifying ghost god cauldron. This cauldron could easily kill a divine lord, but its surface was damaged. If he could obtain this cauldron and find a way to repair it, would this cauldron be able to easily kill the human ancestor? The deity's family. The god deity Sky, Yi Sky. Yi god of the deity Lord Yi. In the shattered void, Yi Fei's expression was ice-cold. He entered the ghost gate and stepped on the divine cauldron. His ancient god's strength was as vast as the mountains and rivers, shaking the surroundings. However, there were too many divine lords attacking him. He could no longer bypass the layers of divine lords to destroy the celestial demon, young master's soul. However, Yi Fei did not regret exposing himself. There were things a man should do and things he should not do. Deity's death saddened Yi Fei, but it also infuriated Yi Fei. He needed to vent his anger. He also needed to seek justice for his old friend. Fight. Yi Fei's eyes turned demonic. A strong blood-red sword light slashed out of the ghost deity gate, severely injuring another early-stage divine lord. Then, a pair of azure dragon wings appeared on Yi Fei's back. With just a flap of the wings, Yi Fei disappeared from the deity Sky's arena, leaving behind afterimages. He then charged into the godfiend Forbidden Land. Kill. Don't let Yi Mo escape. It's our duty to exterminate evil. The divine lords of the Kai family and Qin family roared at the same time. It was as if their actions represented justice. Roar. However, it was at this moment that the roar of a dragon could be heard. Long Guang, Long Xing, and all of the other draconians were roaring. Yi Fei, get out of here! The dragon tribe will cover your retreat. Senior Long Guang, why do you have to do this? If you interfere now, you will only end up like me, surrounded by enemies. Yi Fei turned back. He could not bear to see this happen. He deliberately did not get too close to the dragon race because he did not want such a scene to happen. Long Guang's laughter came from afar. So what if the entire world is your enemy? You are not only the person chosen by the previous patriarch, but also the benefactor of the dragon race. We may be weak, but our hot-bloodedness still burns. From today onwards, the dragon race will follow your lead. Roar. Amidst the deafening roar of a dragon, Long Guang's body suddenly expanded. From a human, he had transformed into an ancient demonic dragon. Although he was not the human progenitor, his battle prowess was close to the human progenitors. This was the power of the Demon Emperor Sutra. If not for the short period of cultivation, Long Guang could very well have broken through Rinzhu and become the first Rinzhu expert in Godfiend City. Thinking of this, Yi Fei suddenly had an idea. He no longer fled. Instead, he flapped his wings and suddenly appeared beside Long Guang. Senior Long Guang, since your hot-bloodedness is still burning, do you dare to use this cauldron to slay the enemies? Catch the cauldron! The void howled. Yi Fei suddenly gritted his teeth and threw the specter divine cauldron in front of Long Guang. Long Guang did not hesitate. Immediately, a strong ancient Fei aura erupted from his body. Yi Fei, stand on my head! Whoosh! Yi Fei retracted his azure dragon wings and landed firmly on Long Guang's transformed dragon head. His hands gripped tightly onto a pair of demonic dragon horns. At this moment, the divine lords besieging Yi Fei also subconsciously blasted their mystiques over. In the void, a loud ancient Fei dragon roar reverberated. Long Guang directly grabbed the specter divine cauldron and smashed it forward. The impact caused the heavens and earth to explode. It also shattered countless divine powers, turning them into scattered streams of light. Then, a demonic dragon rushed out from the scattered light. Its huge dragon claws grabbed the mountain-like cauldron of ghosts and deities and swept it forward violently. The few Sir-gods who were closest to it had their physical bodies destroyed and their spiritual souls exploded. Long Guang's strike and the power of the Spectre Divine Cauldron were even more terrifying than when Yi Fei used it. This was the advantage of one's cultivation realm. Long Guang was a late-stage Divine Lord expert. Now that he had cultivated the Demon Emperor Sutra and had the Spectre Divine Cauldron, he instantly became invincible among his peers. A few Divine Lords from Demonic Palace clashed with the Spectre Divine Cauldron unwillingly. Their bodies exploded and only their divine souls remained. They fled into the distance in fear. With the Spectre Divine Cauldron, Long Guang is actually so terrifying. Also, what kind of divine power did he use? It actually has such a demonic aura. It's like an ancient fey dragon, undefeatable? The Qin family patriarch's face was pale. The Kai family had submitted to Demonic Palace, and Long Guang was on good terms with the first person on the Earth Carnage roll. He increasingly felt the decline of the Qin family. Qin family, retreat. As the patriarch, Qin Ming finally made up his mind. He couldn't let all the Divine Lords in his family die here. The Kai family's Kai gang also gave the order to retreat. In front of the Demon Emperor Sutra and Spectre Divine Cauldron, ordinary Divine Lords were no match for Long Guang. It was even more impossible for them to defeat Long Guang and capture Yi Fei. In order to preserve their strength, not only the warriors of the Kai family and Qin family, even the celestial demon young master, who desired to capture Yi Fei, let out an indignant roar and gave the order to retreat. Chapter 2509. Follow to death. The demonic palace members came and went without a trace. They were like a series of demonic shadows that rushed out of the god-fiend forbidden grounds and disappeared into the night. Similarly, the Qin and Kai family warriors also fled. They ran all over the mountains, especially the Divine Lords. They fled the fastest, afraid that they would be targeted and die tragically under the ghost deity cauldron. Long Guang's carefree laughter came from the void after he was bathed in blood. This is great. After holding back for so long, I, a demi-dragon, can finally hold my head high. Senior Long Guang, it's too early to be happy. If the demonic palace isn't eliminated, we won't be able to eat or sleep in peace. Chase after them and continue killing. I'll lead the way for you, Yi Fei ordered in a deep voice. Although the demonic palace's escape techniques were strange, they could not escape the detection of Xiao Chao's heaven-earth divine eyes. Yi Fei did this to test the dragon race. He wanted to know if they would listen to his orders as Long Guang had said. Then, he would decide whether to proceed with the next step of the plan. Long Guang did not hesitate when he heard the order. His massive fey dragon body suddenly rushed to the location Yi Fei pointed out. Although there was nothing there, Long Guang still used all his strength to smash into the void when he heard Yi Fei's order. A shrill scream came from the void. It was a divine lord of the demonic palace who had turned into a demonic shadow and hid in the void. The divine lord would never have imagined that his concealment would be seen through by Yi Fei at a glance. Yi Fei even ordered Long Guang to kill him mercilessly. In the following period of time, Yi Fei constantly spoke and pointed out the locations of the divine lords from the celestial fiend hall that were hiding. Long Guang pursued and killed 7 divine lords of the demonic palace. They were all the high-end forces of the demonic palace's branch palaces in Godfiend City. At this moment, they were all wiped out. However, Yi Fei found it a pity that the demonic palace young master, who had taken over the mortal god's body, ran too quickly. Xiao Chao's heaven-earth divine eyes did not find any trace of the demonic palace young master. Yi Fei, the celestial demon young master. Not only does he specialize in possessing other people's bodies, he also seems to have learned the celestial demon hall's ultimate technique, the faceless celestial demon. When he flees, he is invisible and formless. Unless one can kill him instantly, it would be very difficult to catch up to him. After continuing to chase for a while, he still could not find any trace of the celestial demon young master. Yi Fei had to admit that the celestial fiend young master, who had possessed the body of a human god, was stronger and more cunning than the celestial fiend young master, who had gone to the Dragon Clan to propose marriage. However, the Sky Fiend Branch Hall had all divine lords wiped out. The Sky Fiend Hall will definitely not take this lying down. Senior Long Guang, I've really implicated you this time. Yi Fei said apologetically. Don't say such things. Without the Demon Emperor scripture that you brought back, there wouldn't be the current Dragon Clan. Moreover, the previous clan leader had already led our Dragon Clan to submit to the Nine Heavens Sword Master. Since he has asked you to return, it means that he has the intention of letting our Dragon Clan follow you. Therefore, you don't have to say whether you have implicated us or not. Don't call me senior in the future. You are the successor of the Nine Heavens Sword Master and the master of the Half-Dragon Clan. If you don't mind, you can just call me Uncle Long. Long Guang returned to his human form and suddenly knelt down on one knee. He raised the ghost deity cauldron with both hands and returned it to Yi Fei. Yi Fei was shocked. He only realized now that the slovenly Taoist had sent him to the divine Devil City not only to explore the earthly Emperor's heavens, but also to entrust the entire Half-Dragon Clan to him. After all, it was impossible for him to save the Nine Heavens Sword Master and revive the Sword Palace by himself. This Half-Dragon Clan was undoubtedly the strongest force that the slovenly Taoist had given to Yi Fei. Understanding this point, Yi Fei did not refuse. He very calmly accepted Long Guang's loyalty, and then hurriedly helped Long Guang up. He said, Uncle Long, I can accept you to follow me, but you must follow me secretly. After all, I have many enemies. If you follow me openly, it will be detrimental to the Dragon Clan. Haha, Yi Fei, don't worry. Regardless of whether it is publicized or not, the Dragon Clan will follow you to death this time. If you want to fight, the Half-Dragon Clan will fight with you. Remember, although we are weak, we are still courageous. Long Guang patted Yi Fei's shoulder heavily. A fierce fire and fighting spirit burned fiercely in Yi Fei's heart like a torch. He was courageous. Since the whole world was his enemy, what did he have to fear? From afar, Long Xing's thunderous voice could be heard. Patriarch, young patriarch, the demonic palace and the dregs have all been killed by us. However, many of the Kai family and Qin family have escaped. Hearing this, Long Guang laughed and shook his head. Now that the Dragon Clan has risen, the Qin and Kai families are no longer a threat. As for the demonic palace, they will definitely not be willing to accept the destruction of their subhalls. It is also very likely that the demonic palace will send Renzu to take revenge on us. Yi Fei remained calm and asked, Uncle Long, how do you plan to deal with it? It's very simple. Move the clan and enter the forbidden land of the gods and demons first. Strive to enter the earthly sovereign heavens. That heavens opens once every 10 years. 10 years is enough for the Dragon Clan to master the Demon Emperor scripture and break through to the position of Renzu. Long Guang was very decisive. Realizing that the situation was not right, he immediately ordered people to inform the Dragon Clan that they were abandoning the demonic god city and planning to move the entire clan to the earthly sovereign heavens. Without a doubt, this was a very wise decision. The other elders of the Dragon Clan did not object. And soon, they began to build a teleportation platform. This platform was originally prepared for the Dragon Clan to quickly send people to occupy the forbidden land of the gods and demons after winning the battle of the Forbidden Land. Now, it had become the best bridge for the Dragon Clan to migrate. Every now and then, Yi Fei saw a large number of old, weak women and children of the Dragon Clan quickly enter the forbidden land of the gods and demons under the protection of many powerful flood dragons. But soon, the angry roar of an elder came from the forbidden land of the gods and demons. Clan leader, young clan leader, The 3,000 killing formations that the Kai family set up outside the earthly sovereign pass are still operating. We can't break it in a short time. Hearing this bad news, the expressions of many half-dragon people changed. Long Xing even punched the ground and cursed, "The Kai family is shameless! No wonder they retreated so quickly. It turns out that they left behind a killing formation to prevent us from entering the earthly sovereign heavens. Clan leader, what should we do? It will take at least 10 days to break these formations, and the earthly sovereign heavens will only open today and tomorrow." Many members of the Dragon clan were enraged. Obviously, the Kai family had done this on purpose. Their goal was to prevent the winning clan from entering the earthly sovereign heavens. This way, even if the Kai family lost the Battle of the Forbidden Land, they would not suffer any losses. Clan leader, young clan leader, since you are so strong, why don't you lead us directly to the Kai family and force them to hand over the method to break the formation? Long Xing suggested viciously. Long Guang shook his head. It's too late. Kai Gang is an old fox. Since he did such a thing, he definitely won't wait at the Kai family and let us attack. Yi Fei, why don't we give up on the Divine Devil City and leave now? Long Guang sighed. He was at his wits' end now. Yi Fei smiled slightly. It's just 3,000 killing formations. Uncle Long, bring your clansmen and follow me. I will lead you in. Chapter 25:10 Conquering the Nine Heavens, Slaying Gods and Demons. The Kai family's 3,000 killing arrays were broken just like that? As they walked past the killing arrays outside, many people from the Dragon tribe couldn't help but feel shocked. The 3,000 killing arrays outside the Earth Emperor Pass were the Kai family's strongest arrays. It was also the foundation of the Kai family. Even if Renzu wanted to attack the Kai family, it would be very difficult to break through the thousands of linked arrays. This was also the reason why the Kai family could become the #1 family in the Divine Devil City. But now, these killing arrays were useless in front of Yi Fei. This made the gazes that many members of the Dragon race looked at Yi Fei with already changed from idolization to reverence. #1 on the Earth Carnage Proclamation and even an array Grandmaster. These two halos, no matter which one, they were all so dazzling. Only Long Jiaojiao had a complicated look in her eyes. She was a smart girl and naturally understood that Yi Fei might not be her elder brother, but she had misunderstood. But during this period, she had always treated Yi Fei as her elder brother and had even allowed Yi Fei to touch the place she cared about the most. Just thinking about it made Long Jiaojiao blush and bury her head in front of her body, unable to raise her head like an ostrich. Of course, as the culprit of this matter, the blabbermouth Long Xing was naturally beaten up by Long Jiaojiao on the spot. Now, his nose was bruised and his face was swollen, and he was in great pain. But no one cared about such a small matter. Faced with the strong pressure from the heavenly demon Great Hall, all the demi-dragon people had a heavy heart. For the Dragon tribe, finding a safe place was the most important thing. This required someone to open the Earth Emperor's heavens as soon as possible. Yi Fei took a deep breath. Yi Fei didn't hide the indestructible sword token on him. His spirit walked out of the Sky Palace and suddenly pointed the sword token at the endless void. The sword spirit wailed again. Immediately, the entire void seemed to be filled with a huge wail of sorrow. The earthly emperor's all heavens, which were supposed to open after one more day, suddenly seemed to have sensed something, and started to descend slowly. Heaven and earth started to tremble, and the entire earthly emperor pass seemed to be on the verge of collapse as the all heavens descended. Heavens, not only was the Dragon tribe not hindered by the killing array, that Yi Fei even opened the earthly sovereign heavens himself. Countless divine senses gathered in the forbidden land of gods and devils. These were all forces of gods and devils' city. They paid close attention to the forbidden land of fiend gods, and there were many spies from the Qin and Kai clans hiding among them. It didn't take long for them to relay the news to the hidden Kai clan and Qin clan. As Long Guang had expected, the Qin family and the Kai family did not stay in the Divine Devil City to wait for the dragon tribe to attack. Instead, they joined forces and gathered all the elites of the two families to hide outside the Divine Devil Forbidden Land. However, the two families did not have Renzu or treasures that could counter the Demon Emperor's scripture and the ghost deity cauldron. They could only wait for Renzu from the heavenly demon Great Palace to arrive, and for the dragon tribe to be badly battered by the 3,000 killing arrays outside the earthly Emperor Pass. However, reality slapped the Qin family and the Kai family hard in the face. Kai Gang was so angry that his face turned ashen. He punched out and shattered the void. Bastard, the 3,000 killing arrays are the treasures of the Kai family. How could Yi Fei walk through them unscathed? Could it be that Yi Fei was the one who triggered the all heavens of the Forbidden Land? Kai Ming suddenly remembered that not long ago, the all heavens of the Forbidden Land had also acted strangely. At that time, the divine emperors of the Kai family had been puzzled. Now that they thought about it, perhaps Yi Fei had already passed through the killing arrays and was hiding inside. Kai Ming and the divine sovereign of the Kai family, who had stayed behind to guard the Earth Emperor Pass, looked regretful and vexed. If they had been more careful back then, they would have checked the 3,000 killing arrays outside the pass. Unfortunately, there were no ifs in this world. Therefore, Kai Ming and the divine emperors of the Kai family could only watch with red eyes as the all heavens slowly descended inside the earthly Emperor Pass. The wails of the indestructible sword token became louder. Boom! Suddenly, the indestructible sword token turned into a beam of destructive divine light. This divine light tore the all heavens apart and revealed the true face of the all heavens. Inside the all heavens was a terrifying battlefield of slaughter. Countless white bones lay on the ground. These white bones belonged to the Lord of Heaven, Tao Lords, Divine Emperors, and Renzu. There was also a vast and sorrowful aura of an ancient emperor emanating from within. However, the most eye-catching thing was a huge war flag among the white bones. The flag was tattered and a majestic emperor could be faintly seen on it. Could this be the army of the earthly emperor? After the death of the earthly emperor, they all died in battle here? Yi Fei rushed toward the all heavens of the earthly emperor with curiosity. Long Guang and all the members of the dragon tribe followed closely behind. Boom! As soon as they entered, a vast wave of corpse chi rushed toward them from afar. It seemed to want to turn all living beings into white bones and corpse demons on the ground. Long Guang was prepared and immediately shouted, "Everyone, hold your breath. Don't let the corpse chi enter your body. All Tao Lords, follow me to set up the array and get rid of the corpse chi. No need. These corpse chi can't stop us. Indestructible sword token, absorb." Rumble. Yi Fei activated his dark force. At this moment, he no longer had any scruples and fully activated the indestructible sword token. The sword token immediately became as large as a mountain and like a black hole, it crazily absorbed all the corpse chi in the all heavens of the earthly emperor. These corpse chi seemed to have found an outlet. Some turned into chi dragons, some turned into divine mist, some turned into demonic beasts, and some emitted divine light. All kinds of strange phenomena appeared from these corpse chi. Before Yi Fei's eyes, the white bones that filled the sky disappeared. Billowing dust spread from the ground to the sky. Upon closer look, it was actually two armies fighting fiercely in the all heavens. On one side was the battle flag of the earthly emperor, and on the other side was the crimson moon imperial flag of the divine dynasty. Around the two battle flags were a large number of divine lords. Renzu, they all looked indifferent as they watched the bloody battle. In this bloody battle, the earthly emperor's army won every battle. They were not afraid of death and were even crazy because they had nowhere to go. Behind them was the only remaining earthly emperor's all heavens. Behind them were their last wives and children. Kill! For the earthly emperor! Countless young divine lords roared fanatically in the battle formation. However, a vigorous and angry voice came from the sky. No, this battle is not for me, but for our loved ones. For the 10 lands, we will no longer be bullied by the 9 heavens. Soldiers, follow me to conquer the 9 heavens and slay the gods and demons. Boom! Yi Fei could not see the true face of the earthly emperor under the strong ancient emperor's aura. He could only vaguely see a ray of blood sword light that tore the all heavens and the surging army of the divine dynasty. However, within the army, the Renzu of the divine dynasty was emotionless and indifferent. They did not care about the casualties of their subordinate. They only raised their heads and looked at the sky. Chapter 25:11. The ancient hero's path of no return. The huge imperial edict was pulled apart by the 2 ancient emperors. Shockingly, the arm of an ancient god could be seen protruding out of the imperial edict. It was as if someone had come from another world to kill the earthly emperor. Seeing this, the hazy figure was not afraid. Instead, he let out a loud roar. So what if you're an ancient god? We came from the grasslands, and we will go from the grasslands. We are people of the 10 earths. We only know of the heaven and earth, not the gods and demons. If the gods bully us, we will kill the gods. If the demons humiliate us, we will slaughter the demons. What bullshit, ancient gods, heavenly might. You should know that a human's life is more important than the heavens' will. Boom! The intense light of the blood sword tore apart the heaven and earth and destroyed the ancient god's arm that came out of the imperial edict. Yi Fei could clearly hear the ancient gods roar in the void. On the ground, many of the earthly emperor's soldiers who were still fighting a bloody battle exploded and their divine souls were destroyed. Yi Fei's heart also suffered a huge blow, because when the earthly emperor destroyed the imperial edict and attacked the heavens with his sword, the void of the earthly emperor's all heavens suddenly cracked open. A mighty ancient god's might began to descend from the void. An ancient god actually came personally to kill the earthly emperor. Moreover, this ancient god was obviously more powerful and terrifying than the ancient god in the imperial edict. This was a real ancient god. The terrifying ancient god's heavenly might crushed the all heavens, causing terrifying cracks to appear. The earthly emperor's sword light also became more resplendent at this moment. Vaguely, Yi Fei felt a faint smile from the earthly emperor's hazy figure. The imperishable sword token in his hand suddenly emitted a strong sense of sadness, as if it was mourning the passing of the earthly emperor. It was also mourning the earthly emperor's heroic deeds. With his own strength, he conquered the 9 heavens and fought against an ancient god alone. This boldness caused Yi Fei's emotions to be stirred and set ablaze. Then, he saw 2 resplendent figures like a river of stars. At this moment, the whole world seemed to have frozen. Only the sword light of the earthly emperor and the divine light of the ancient god were colliding and killing each other. The ancient god's divine light was suddenly shattered by the scarlet sword light. That was the light of the god Tribulation blood sword, which Baizhan Yusheng and the earthly sovereign had used to lead the human race through all obstacles. This was a sword that existed for the sole purpose of slaying ancient gods. This kind of sword light tore apart the divine light of the ancient god and pierced into the sacred body of the ancient god. The army of the Red Moon divine dynasty suddenly went into an uproar. No one expected that the seemingly invincible ancient god would be injured by the earthly sovereign's sword. Gods are nothing more than powerful people who have cultivated. What makes you think you can order us around? What right do you have to think that you're so high and mighty and treat us like ants? Today, I, the earthly sovereign, will annihilate the 9 heavens and exterminate you ancient gods who abuse your power. The earthly sovereign's sword light was even stronger. It was no longer the light of the ancient god, but a sword light condensed from heaven and earth. The sword light suddenly condensed into a strange golden-black divine sword. This was the light of the immortal sword token. Immortal and indestructible, it represented eternal destruction. Facing this attack, even the ancient god's face was filled with shock and fear. Since ancient times, the path to becoming a god has been cut off in the 10 earth. You can actually continue your path and comprehend the immortal god law? Earthly sovereign, you must die. By the order of the heavenly emperor, I'll kill you in the 10 earths. I'll destroy the root of your race. From now on, there will be no more empyrean exalts in the 10 earths. This ancient god no longer fought with the earthly sovereign. Instead, he retreated in an extremely sorry state. At the same time, a strange seal appeared in the ancient god's hand, and he threw it at the earthly sovereign. The earthly sovereign's hazy figure suddenly let out a sad roar. Heavenly Emperor, you can kill me, but you can't kill my will. It's not the heavens that abandon me, it's me that abandoned the heavens. There will be someone who will come later with this sword to conquer the heavens. Rumble. The earthly sovereign's sword collided with the heavenly emperor's divine seal. The divine seal shattered from the middle, and the earthly sovereign's figure madly coughed up blood. His light dimmed, and he fell from the void to the ground. Kneel. The heavenly emperor wants you to kneel and die. He wants you to personally see how the ants that follow you die under the might of the heavens. In the void, the ancient god was no longer in a sorry state. Instead, he regained his high and mighty demeanor. He was like a god as he announced the earthly sovereign's crimes. He wanted this expert, who had fought for the human race his entire life, to kneel and accept his death in humiliation. The earthly sovereign's army was all furious. All of the Renzu let out angry roars. The earthly sovereign also let out an angry roar. He suddenly raised his sword and personally cut off his own leg. Without a leg, I won't kneel. Without a head, I won't know fear. Poof! The earthly sovereign raised his sword and cut off his head again. His head suddenly flew into the air and flew toward one of the ancient emperors of the Red Moon Divine Dynasty. I don't blame you for not having the guts to fight against the ancient gods. I'll give this head to you in exchange for a chance for my subordinates to live. Kill. The legless and headless earthly sovereign still waved his sword at the ancient god in the void. His divine soul was burning and his blood was raging. This was the earthly sovereign's last and strongest attack. In the void, the arrogant ancient god let out a fearful roar. He tried to activate the heavenly emperor's divine seal to resist the earthly sovereign. But the earthly sovereign's sword was too fast. This was a fatal sword. It was also an invincible sword. Even the ancient god couldn't completely block it. His chest was pierced, and a huge bloody hole appeared. At this moment, the indestructible sword token's mournful wail became louder. Yi Fei vaguely saw a headless and legless body walking toward him. The headless and legless body touched his forehead with a bloody hand. Since ancient times, heroes have no way back. How dare you laugh at the gods and demons? Are you willing to cut the heavens? Boom! The earthly sovereign's voice was like thunder, exploding in Yi Fei's heart. Yi Fei's divine soul began to tremble. He felt like he had fallen into a special spacetime. It also felt like he was in a dream. When he woke up, the sky was still the sky. This place was no longer a battlefield. Only endless bones were left. Since ancient times, the human sovereign has no way back. Yi Fei muttered to himself. He touched his shoulder, where the human sovereign's seal was burning. It was the symbol of the human sovereign, and also the human sovereign. It was a heavy responsibility. At this moment, Yi Fei understood that the earthly sovereign was the human sovereign, and the first human sovereign. And the indestructible sword token was actually the human sovereign's sword that the first human sovereign held. This was also why the structure of the earthly sovereign's pass was exactly the same as the human race's pass. When he thought of this and looked at the piles of bones on the ground, Yi Fei couldn't help but sigh. He didn't know if the earthly sovereign's actions were right or wrong, but he admired the earthly sovereign's fearless spirit. "Are you willing to cut the heavens?" Yi Fei unconsciously repeated this sentence. He shook his head and then nodded. "I'm not as radical as the earthly sovereign, rebelling without a word. But if there's a day when I can rival the ancient gods, I can cut the heavens." Boom! Chapter 25:12. My will can shake the heavens. The indestructible sword token glowed with divine light and condensed all the corpse aura it had absorbed into a corpse aura sword. It slashed towards the heavens, and the earthly sovereign's heavens suddenly cracked open. An emperor's coffin floated out of the crack. Inside it was the earthly sovereign's corpse. Although the earthly sovereign was dead, the emperor's coffin still exuded the boundless might of the ancient sovereign. That's the former emperor's coffin. It's also the source of the ancient sovereign's power. If we can get close and absorb enough of the ancient sovereign's power, it will not only improve our cultivation but also our bloodline. Some elders from the dragon tribe were extremely excited and took the lead to approach the emperor's coffin. However, when the divine Lord Elder was 100 steps away from the emperor's coffin suddenly erupted with a mighty sword aura. It tore the heavens apart and caused the dragon tribe elder to vomit blood and retreat frantically. Feeling the sword aura, the indestructible sword token let out an excited hum. Suddenly, it rushed towards the emperor's coffin uncontrollably. Even though Yi Fei tried his best to suppress it, he could not stop the indestructible sword token. He could only watch as the indestructible sword token turned into a stream of light and pierced into the emperor's coffin. It also happened to be branded in the middle of the emperor's coffin. Yi Fei could not help but have an extremely bold thought. Could it be that the 9 heavens sword master entered the earthly sovereign's heavens, but she did not have the ability to take the complete emperor's coffin away, so she could only take the indestructible sword token that was branded on the emperor's coffin? Patriarch, what's going on? Why have we never heard of the ancient sovereign's coffin in the forbidden land of gods and demons? Long Xing's rough voice sounded again. Long Guang's expression was grave. The ancient sovereign's coffin is the greatest secret of the forbidden land of gods and demons. It is also the foundation of the forbidden land of gods and demons. Throughout history, only the 3 patriarchs of the divine Devil City knew about it. However, from the actions of the demonic palace, it seems that the demonic palace already knows about it. Otherwise, the demonic palace main hall wouldn't pay attention to our small divine Devil City. Yi Fei, you must be careful. This emperor's coffin is very strange. If anyone comes within 100 steps of it, the emperor's coffin will explode with boundless sword might and kill them. In the past, even the previous clan leader and the 9 heavens sword master were unable to subdue this emperor's coffin. They could only take away the black gold sword token on the emperor's coffin. When Yi Fei first took out the indestructible sword token, Long Guang did not pay much attention. It was only when the indestructible sword token opened the heavens and summoned the ancient emperor's coffin that he suddenly realized why the indestructible sword token in Yi Fei's hand looked so familiar. That was clearly something that was originally on the emperor coffin. At this moment, the indestructible sword token had returned once again and fused with the emperor's coffin. Yi Fei did not know whether this was a blessing or a curse. However, the indestructible sword soul had followed him from the beginning. It was not only a weapon, but also Yi Fei's faith and hope. He would rather give up the black gold emperor sword than give up the indestructible sword token. No matter how strange this emperor's coffin is, I must take back the indestructible sword token. Since it has followed me, it no longer belongs to this emperor's coffin. Dong. Yi Fei's footsteps were as heavy as a mountain. He took large strides towards the emperor's coffin. Instantly, a terrifying sword howl erupted from within the Emperor's coffin, as though warning Yi Fei not to come any closer. It was as though taking another step forward would be blasphemy, and he would be mercilessly attacked by the Emperor's coffin. At this moment, Long Guang's expression turned extremely serious. He had already decided to place the future of the demi-dragon race on Yi Fei. If anything happened to Yi Fei, the dragon race would lose all hope. "Brother, be careful." Long Jiaojiao was silent all the way. However, when she saw Yi Fei walking towards the Emperor's coffin, she became anxious. Then, she saw Yi Fei's figure enter within 100 steps of the Emperor's coffin. Boom! A mighty sword aura burst out from within the Emperor's coffin like a hurricane. It was as though it could split the sky and kill all the gods and demons in the world. Yi Fei's expression also turned serious at this moment. He snorted coldly. His ancient god golden body was like a purplish gold star that shone dazzlingly. The sword aura from the Emperor's coffin couldn't affect Yi Fei at all. He continued to advance, step by step, towards the ancient Emperor's coffin. Long Jiaojiao's expression also became more and more anxious as Yi Fei continued to approach. "Father, will Yi Fei be in trouble if he does this?" "Probably not." Back then, the Nine Heavens Sword Master was able to get close to the Emperor's coffin and take away the black gold sword token. Since Yi Fei was chosen by the previous tribe leader, he must have inherited the legacy of the Nine Heavens Sword Master. As long as he doesn't touch the Emperor's coffin. Boom! Before Long Guang could finish speaking, Yi Fei had already reached the Emperor's coffin. His hands suddenly grabbed the Emperor's coffin, as though he wanted to lift it up and take it away. Long Guang's eyes widened in shock. Long Jiaojiao and Long Xing were also dumbfounded. No one had dared to touch the Emperor's coffin ever since it had appeared. Even the Nine Heavens Sword Master could only take away the indestructible sword token on it. But Yi Fei wanted to touch the Emperor's coffin? Such an action. It was no different from a mortal challenging a sleeping beast. When the beast was awakened, the entire Emperor's coffin shone with light. A mighty ancient Emperor's aura spread out like the heavens and earth. Even though they were 100 steps away, Long Jiaojiao and Long Xing felt their breathing stagnate. It was as though their bodies were about to collapse from the pressure. Yi Fei bore the brunt of the ancient Emperor's aura, and the pressure he felt was 100 times more than the other two. Even the ancient god golden body, which had always been successful, started to crack violently. The strong pressure caused Yi Fei's soul to feel piercing pain. The dark force in his body felt as though it had been sucked dry, and he was extremely weak. At this rate, his ancient god golden body might shatter within 10 breaths of time. His physical body would also be crushed by the ancient Emperor's aura. However, Yi Fei still refused to retreat. After all, this was the Emperor's coffin of the earthly Emperor. He was a person from the earthly domain who shared the same bloodline as him. Such an emperor should not be buried in a foreign land. Instead, he should return to his homeland and be buried in the earthly domain, just like the previous human emperors. Earthly Emperor, if your spirit is in heaven, let me take your body back to your homeland. Soul, come back! Yi Fei roared. He exerted force with both hands again, trying to lift the Emperor's coffin. Long Guang and the other divine emperors of the dragon tribe were frightened, and their faces turned pale. They even wanted to join forces and snatch Yi Fei back. After all, this emperor's coffin had been in the Godfiend city for almost 10,000 years. If it could be taken away, the Ninth Heaven Sword Master would have done so long ago. How could he let the emperor's coffin hide here? Yi Fei, on the other hand, did not seem to feel the ancient imperial might of the coffin that could crush him at any time. He merely shook the coffin out of respect for the first-generation human emperor. Earthly Emperor, come back. We are both human emperors. My will can shake the heavens. Boom. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.